friends, those who are physically present in this room, and also to our esteemed faculty members and friends, those who are online. I think today we have two very eminent guests who are physically with us and two guests who are virtually connected to us. And I, on behalf of Honorable Founder President, Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan, welcome Parimal, who is Scientific Advisor to Chief of Integrated Staff Committee, and Mr. Vikram, who is CEO, or I should say he owns a startup which is involved in drones, and we will go in detail about his work. And we are also joined by another entrepreneur, Mr. Pankaj Goyal, who is in the development of autonomous agri vehicles, and another very sharp entrepreneur who is into the distribution, Imbista Afifa Faruqi from Ottawa, Canada. So today we have four experts. I think we have a scheduled program, and we will go by that, and we will, I'll share with you about their journey, about their accomplishments. But to go through the program, I'll hand over the mic to Neeraj.
Thank you, Dr. Singh. Once again, on behalf of the Honorable Founder President, Dr. Ashok Chauhan, the Chancellor and the Vice Chancellor, my colleagues, I welcome both Parimal and Vikram offline, available with us, and online the other guests who would be joining us in due course. I was just having a brief discussion with Vikram. He's an entrepreneur. He's coming from IIT Kanpur. There's an incubator over there. And as Dr. Singh was mentioning about the startup that he's running, he's on drones, which is serving the purpose of both civilian as well as military use. There is a struggle which he is talking about going on with the startup company, so he'll also be talking about that. And today's topic of discussion is the role of academia in the Indian startup system. That's what we have, designed this particular event or the program on. So we'll be listening to the panelists and the experts who have come here on this particular topic, maybe their own experiences or whatever they want to speak on this topic. I would also request Vikram to focus on the academia and the startup, because you're based in an academic institution yourself, and what academic sector is helping you out, what help you are taking from them, what is the strategies that you want to follow as a startup company, and how do you want to proceed further. I just would like to take a few minutes, just 2 or 3 minutes, to tell you about some of the data on these startups that we have in this country. As of now, in the last 10 years and so on, because after this, the government of Narendra Modi, the Honorable Prime Minister, this particular focus on the startup is huge. And the same as I was talking yesterday, we had the event yesterday, that whatever is being thought about by the government of India and the Honorable Prime Minister is also being thought here by our Honorable Founder President. Now, this is the sync in which this university is working, in the sync with the government ideologies, government, thinking process and their strategies. Now, this is what the academic sector has to do. They have to follow in line. They have to follow the process. So if we talk about the last 10 years, what this country has done is about 122,000 startups that have come up in this nation. Of course, some of them are struggling, some of them are doing good, some of them are still starting their process and so on. And there is an interesting figure in 2020, in which we were in the peak of the pandemic. Almost 16,000 startups came. This is a very interesting figure to see that during that period, many people started thinking to start their own, because the jobs were going off, there were challenges of those kinds. So people started more number of startup companies. 16,000, it's a huge number, and in the year 2020. Now, where are these startup companies? Which sectors they are actually, working on? Retail, fintech, transportation and logistics, auto tech, travel and hospitality, edutech. These sectors took, major chunk. Agri-tech also, some of these sectors, have been performing very well now, and these startup companies are also doing well. And if you talk about the R&D related, deep tech companies, startup companies, we have an investment of about $7 billion. You know, the nation is now progressing very fast. And as far as the startups are going on, this is new emerging sectors. If you talk about deep tech is one new emerging sector which is coming up. Incidentally, we have a AI center. I think Dr. Singh will talk about it in detail. We also are supporting our students, our faculty members, you know, to have those kinds of support system with us. So a huge AI system, he will talk in detail about that. Deep tech, space tech, AI and EVs. These are four sectors which have actually, these are emerging sectors. Fintech is already, you know, they are there. Now, new sectors I'm talking about. The space tech, because this government is again pushing into the space sector more. As of now, there are 111 unicorns in India. Also, importantly, there are a lot of women participation is here. It's about in 2023, $1.1 billion investment only in the women entrepreneurship, women startup companies. So you can imagine that women are also coming forward to not only you know, start their own ventures, but their companies, the startup companies. And to top of it, this particular sector, the startup sector, has created 10 lakh jobs in year 2023, as of 2023. So in the last 10 years, good amount of progress has happened. Also, as the country is progressing, the nation is progressing at around 5%, 6% growth rate. The startup ecosystem, the Indian startup ecosystem is also progressing at the same rate. So this particular sector is actually following the growth path of the Indian economy, which means that this is actually the real sector which is following the Indian economy. So about 6.3% growth rate, which occurred in 23-24. So this data is very important. Actually, this shows how the startup sector in India is actually contributing. And our Honorable Prime Minister has also already talked about that India is going to be, and it is going to be, in even not in 2030, by 2027, this is going to be the third largest economy in the world. So we are not talking about 2030 anymore. It is just in 2 years or 3 years time, we will be in a position as a nation to reach the third largest economy in the world. Now, what we are doing here in MET, in the startup system, we have a policy. I think Dr. Selvamurthy may speak about it. There's a policy on the faculty startup here. Student startup is already there. There's an incubator. Now, faculty is encouraged to have their own startup ventures. So first of all, they can float. The faculty here can float. The management is supporting, right? And this university is encouraging the faculty to enhance and convert their current research into a startup, into a commercialization proposition. So this is what the purpose of this meeting is, also to bring you guys over here to enthuse, to make them feel that yes, it is possible. There is a struggle, which yes, of course, happens, and also it's not just encouragement, it's participation also. It's about 2 to 10% participation as an equity by the MET management. So this is a very, very big plus point. So I have given you some brief about the startup across the nation, what MET is doing. I think Dr. Singh and Dr. Selvamurthy will talk much more about all that. And with that, once again, I welcome both of you to this event. I think your coming here itself is a big boost, is a big encouragement for all of us. There is an entrepreneur, there is a person who comes with a rich background from the Prime Minister's office. So I hand it over to Dr. Singh. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Neeraj. Thank you for a wonderful introduction. Now, I think I'll just share with the guest about the MET Universe, where do we stand, what do we do, why we do, and how we do. Because today's meeting emanates from one of the announcements which was made by Honorable Founder President during the visit of Secretary, Department of Scientific and Industrial Research, Dr. Kalai Silvi. He said that I want to complete or start 25 faculty startups. And he did not stop just by announcing that. He said, my ultimate aim is to make my 25 faculty Lakhpati. So I think today's meeting is just to push and realize his vision, his announcement. And Founder President, we are thankful to you for giving the direction. Now, I think when we talk of startup, I was thinking that when I was studying why I didn't have this idea. I think at that time we are the baby boomers. And we, the baby boomers, were very happy with just, stability, finding a government job and be happy. But I think the next generation, Generation Y, has broken all these traditions. They are more risk savvy, or they want to take risk. And another point is, during our time, we said that Saraswati and Lakshmi, they don't stay together. But I think the time has come, they are very comfortably staying together now. Basically, this startup is just to convert Saraswati into Lakshmi. I think that is the thing which we want to do. And I'll share with you very quickly that what Amity is. Then last few slides I would be dedicating on the startup ecosystem in Amity Universe. So can I have the first slide, please? Next slide. I think we are thankful to Honorable Founder President for creating such a universe, and where we are sitting and the campus we are seeing is nothing but the realization of his vision. And his vision was, and his vision is to make India knowledge superpower through education and research. And in this mission, he is helped by two of the very brilliant leaders, Dr. Atul Chauhan, who is the product of London School of Economics and who is also president of our foundation, and Dr. Aseem Chauhan, who is the additional president, and he is the product of Wharton Business School. Both of Aseem Chauhan ji and Atul Chauhan ji, they are also chancellors of some of the campuses, which I'll share with you in detail. Next slide. Now, if we see at a glance what the whole Amity universe has achieved and where do we stand, today I'll say that we stand tall, and I would not be wrong if I say that we are #1 private university setup in this country. And we have about 200,000 brilliant students, 10,000 faculty, regular or part-time. We have 12 campuses, which I'll share with you. Where do we have those campuses? And we offer education right from school to postdoctorate, doctorate, and the postdoctoral fellowships. And recently, the Amity has also bought the international brand, that is Harrow School, to India. And one of such school is functioning in Bangalore. And we have 10 million square feet of the building. And I'll share with you, we have 300 plus, focused programs. And we are proud to say that we have filed 2,116 patents. And the latest tally of the granted patent is 353, because the chief of IPR cell is sitting here. This is the Ankara which I have taken about 2 hours back, because it is a very dynamic. Just see. Now it has become 354 within a few hours. Now we either have completed or running about 400 research projects, etc. And 33 technologies have been transferred. I'll go into the detail. And today's our faculty H index stands at 143. Next. And when I said that we offer a huge canvas of courses, applied courses, interdisciplinary courses, science courses, social science, engineering, technology, right from materials to aerospace to defense technology, biotechnology, then cyber security, computer science, global warming, forensic science, microbial technology, molecular medicine, nuclear science and technology, neurosciences, etc. We offer a huge gamut of courses. Next, and the call and the philosophy of Amity Universe is that it is a research and innovation driven university that our founder president has envisaged. And we are not just saying that we are research and innovation driven universities. We have such ecosystem, such enabling processes and structures, which I will share with you. Number one, to best of my understanding, first is the intent and the support. I think all of you would agree that intent of the management is more, जैसे कहते हैं ना कि गवा सुस्त और गवा चुस्त and मुद्दई सुस्त, मतलब the management is pushing the research and innovation to best of their capability and capacity. And in the enabling processes, I'll share with you that what are the enabling mechanisms which we have: human resources and infrastructure. Next. When we talk of MIT research enablers, we have a dedicated knowledge protection IPR cell, and the chief of IPR cell is also sitting here, Dr. Smita Sahu. We have Directorate of Innovation and Technology Transfer, where all the technologies which mature or which are at the level of transfer, they are being transferred. Dr. Meenakshi Kanoji is sitting here. She will also share her views. Then we also have a DST center here, which is MIT Technology Enabling Center. Their role is they mature the technology up the TRL levels. Then MIT Center for Entrepreneurship Development and MIT Center for eCell. Next. Now, when I said the processes and structures, we have many missions which founder president has created. And one is the Mission Connect, for which I think Dr. Silvamurthy always says, we are just part of that. We are connecting with you. We are today connecting with 4 eminent researchers and entrepreneurs. And we have just Mission Synergy, where we combine closely with the scientists and technocrats. Mission Outcome. Founder president says that whatsoever we do, ROI, we have to see that something substantial, tangible comes out. And that puts a lot of pressure and planning, so that we do anything and everything, but something has to come out. And that is being headed by one of the former service officers, Group Captain Kapil Shukla, who's sitting here. He is chief of the Outcome. And he has also created the S&T War Room, where 25 S&T warriors are there. I think this program is being organized, coordinated by S&T War Room, and I'll introduce them with you. And this is a founder's vision, that they believe in mission accomplishment. That kind of atmosphere and ecosystem has been created. Next. Now, these are some of the important research areas where we prioritize or where we focus, like computational biology, molecular medicine, drug discovery and design, public health, click chemistry. It's a very unique department or institute in MIT, which is headed by Dr. Mona Lisa Mukherjee. And, she had the opportunity of working with one of the Nobel laureates, John Moses. And this is one of the unique concept in this country. And we also believe in traditional medicine. So Indian system of medicine, we also research in this. Next. Then certainly data science, artificial intelligence, I will share with you. Recently, a huge money has been pumped by the management to the tune of about 10 crores in creating the artificial intelligence center for excellence. And there we have created 10 petaflop of capacity computing system, which we are planning to deploy in the future research and other endeavors. And already a lot of research is going on in the health science, in the agriculture science, or in the even the social science, in the management, in marketing and other areas, bioenergy, biofuels, etc. Now, coming to the human resource, that is another very important aspect in research and innovation. So we have plethora of senior researchers, Ramalinga Swamy and Ramanujan fellows. I'll take few seconds, because the researchers who go abroad post PhD, when they want to come back, the government of India offers, various prestigious fellowships. And 2 such fellowships are Ramanujan Fellowship and Ramalinga Fellowship. And this is a very competitive fellowship. And today we boast of hosting maximum number of Ramanujan and Ramalinga fellows in MIT University. And that number counts to 40 plus. Then we also.
This is similar to pool of research that we have. Those
Right.
people who are coming directly from the government or getting into the government job. So because it takes time. So for them to land into some of the labs, they can do it. And after that, they will do it.
So we also engage with Nobel laureates. They come here, they interact with us, and we also connect with them for our research endeavors. I think international faculties, their lectures, conferences, seminars, these are the routine things which we carry out next. And these are some of the glimpses of the fellows. And when they complete their fellowship, this is the policy of the management, then they are given the faculty position. Then they are absorbed. There are many cases where after completing their fellowships, they are having their own independent group and they are guiding 6 to 8 PhD students and pursuing their research endeavors. Next, another set of fellows who are working at various campuses of MIT. Next. Now coming to the infrastructure, HR, intent, processes, and the infrastructure, which is very important. We say that tools are very important. I'll say that we have reasonably very good technical infrastructure where any type of molecular or physical sciences research can be conducted under one roof or within the campus. We have various high-tech labs. I'll share with you next. This is a BioNova lab, which we have. Next, we have all the equipments like microscopes, IR spectrometer, UV visible spectrometer. You go next. FACS, fluorescein assisted cell sorter, HPLC, X-ray diffraction, or X-ray diffraction and all culture lab, plant tissue culture lab or animal tissue culture lab. All these things we have, and biocomputation facility, etc., etc. Next. Coming to the research accomplishments, it's a long story, but I'll just run through it. If you are interested in any one of the researches, you can stop me. Now, next, and this is one of the very good concept which is being pursued by molecular medicine department, where they are, triple conjugate, where they are using targeting the cancer cell, or particularly the cancer stem cell. For homing, they are targeting the folate receptor, which is specific on the cancer cell. Then curcumin as the chemosensitizer, or which will obviate the deleterious or bad effects on the biological system, and then the chemotherapeutic agents. So they are targeting to enhance the therapeutic efficacy of the drug. And this is a patented technology which they are pursuing to enhance the TRL level. Rutonic, it's a plant endophyte which the technology has been transferred and it is being marketed. And agri-photovoltaic second, and this is being done by Dr. V.K. Jain, and this is linked to the idea of Honorable Prime Minister, where he said that I want to enhance the income of the farmers twice by the factor of 2. Here it's a very simple but an effective concept, where you can erect the photovoltaic panels in the field without hampering the production, and the electricity which is generated is being utilized for the farm, and surplus is fed into the grid. And this was picked up by various ministries when MIT had projected or displayed it in the exhibition. Next, we also work on nano sciences, nano based cleaning of industrial effluents. I'll just go through quickly. Next. Then during the COVID times, we had developed the herbal mosquito repellent formulations, biodegradable plastic. It's one of the eminent, research which has been done here. And next is herbal packaging to reduce post-harvest. Next, survival proteins involved in microbes induced for self-renewal and tumorigenic capacity and localized chimeric hydrogel therapy. These are the areas in cancer research where we are working next. Then repurposing of the drugs, that had been an area where, we revisit the established drugs for their other usages or finding new targets for the old drug. Next. Then this is the drug targeting, which I shared with you the first in triple conjugate. We also work on the targeted drug delivery for various ailments. Next. Now we also work on phase change materials and conducting polymers for various applications. Next. Then we also work on fabrication of low-cost visible ultraviolet sensors. Means sensor is a big group where we work not only to detect the light, but next you keep changing even the gases or even the biological fluids. Well, let's say the cholesterol detection or hemoglobin detection or any other biological or physiological fluid detection. Next. Hemoglobin sensor. Next. Smart bandage for early recovery. Next. This is we also have a huge department of space science and technology. Yesterday we had the visitor from ISRO, and who was impressed by the research which MIT has carried out, and he has agreed to collaborate and conduct a workshop. And at the very final stage of opening a center here at MIT University, Noida, where these are the images which we get from them, and we do the image processing to make sense of those images or analysis. Next. This is a project which has been given by DRDO. Our friend Dr. Parimal comes from DRDO, Dare to Dream. One of our faculty member had, won this prestigious project. And this is to find or to, detect a person based on the physiological parameters and gait. His or her face might be covered, but by his gait and other parameters, we would be able to find out or pinpoint whether he's a friend or a foe. And it has got a multiple application in the military or paramilitary and also in the civil. And at this juncture, let me share, owned by Dr. Shivani. And she also has a startup. At MIT, she has a dual cap. One, she is professor at the aerospace, and she is also director of her startup. Next. I think agriculture is a huge area here where we work in all the aspects, post-harvest or soil health, enhancing the productivity of the crop or new varieties through tissue culture or other means. Next. I think next we can just go through that. We also work on the environment, sustainability, and even the ocean sciences. One of our groups, that they have gone to Antarctica, and we are also into the Antarctic and Arctic research. Next. And the funding is, we get a lot of funding from government R&D organizations like DST, DBT, ICMR, etc. And we also boast of getting international funding. These are some of the agencies, UCARI and Erasmus, we get funding. Next. And I would share with you the two important projects which we are being pursued at MIT. One is the Nuclear Security State-of-the-Art Laboratory, which has been funded by DARPA, a US Defense Threat Reduction Agency. And they had given $1 million. And we have created a state-of-the-art facility, and they are making out, working on the logistic, how the nuclear assets can be secured, if and how to detect any pilferage or any intrusion. Next. And we have a global presence. I think I missed one slide that we have about 12 campuses in this country, and founder president plans to open one campus in each state. And the latest is the opening of the MIT University in Bangalore. And I think by next year, I think Hyderabad. And similar number of campuses are abroad, like Tashkent, Singapore, Dubai, Mauritius, 18 countries, and 2 campuses in US. And this is in the Long Island, which is a whole island which belongs to MIT. And there it is planned to make a global research. It's a global research hub. So the work is on. Next. And we also connect, synergy of brains. We have about 270 MOUs, national and international, where we connect with various R&D organizations, industries, and other S&T departments. Next. We have transferred 33 technologies. Till date, I think this is the list. I will be dwelling on this list also. Next. And our faculty are very much decorated. They win a lot of awards, and there is one list which is every year, released by Stanford University, the top 2 scientists, and 33 MIT faculty have appeared in that list. Top 2%. Next. Now coming to the business of today. Basically, today we are looking forward from the eminent speakers that how we can boast or how we can embark to the next level or higher level of faculty startups, because we have a lot of student startups, which I'll share. This is the main thing. And if we see the MIT startup ecosystem, I have already told we are the recognized R&D center by DSIR. So we are free to take R&D funding from any government agency. We have Directorate of Innovation and Technology Transfer. This is one of the mechanisms by which we strengthen the startup ecosystem. IPR Cell, Technology Enabling Center. I have already said. We also have a MIT Center for Entrepreneurship Development, where we nurture or we expose the students right in the beginning, so they can unleash their potential if they have in the entrepreneurship. We also have a big incubator where, the people can, convert, validate their ideas. And if you have an idea, you can participate in that. I'll share with you more on this next. We also connect to industry. Like Cisco, like Tata Technologies has opened a center here in the automobile engineering. Then recently we have signed with Merck. Merck I think is the biggest chemical and biochemical supplier or producer in this world. So they have agreed to have a joint courses which would be industry ready in biological life sciences or life sciences. We connect with DRDO in a big way. Next. And these are some other industries to which we connect. Next. And now when we said the technology transfer, these are the list. We have transferred 33 technologies, and out of 2,166 patents, now the directorate, they keep on filtering, they keep on studying that what are the other, transferable technologies are there or which need some push or some maturation so that we can transfer. So 100 are in the pipeline, which we would be addressing in times to come. Next. Now this is the startup. Then we have a very good, very eminent, equipped startup in our campus here, and where about 200 plus business ventures are there, and we have been able to generate more than 3,500 employment, and 17 virtual incubatees are there, and we are able to generate the revenue of 40 million plus. Next. And this is the bar diagram, how the student startup have increased or have registered in last 10 years. It sums to, if you sum it, it sums to around 470. 462 or 470. So these are the student startups. Next. And when we talk, we have got a very impressive and a huge IPR portfolio. And we were given the award by the Honorable Minister for Commerce, Dr. Piyush Goyal, for the top Indian academic institution for patents and commercialization in 2020. Next, and again we got two more awards. One was in the international conference and industrial intellectual property award in 2023. And if I want to reiterate, we have these portfolio 2116 patents granted 354 and TOT 34. Next. And if I am just summarizing what we have at MIT, we have MIT Center for Entrepreneurship, MIT Institute for Translational Research, and we also have a Dean Translational Research, Dr. Murthy is sitting here. So a lot of emphasis is given that research should go to the masses. Research should be converted to the products. Then DST has then TEC, I have told, Innovation and Technology Transfer, Incubator, Student Startups, Industry Connect, IPR Cell, Management Support. We have huge management support and mentorship. We have experts present in this campus who mentor and who guide for the faculty and students to start the startup. That's what I want to say. Now, the main agenda of today's is that we want to embark to the next level, particularly in the faculty startup. And out of the four eminent speakers which have agreed to be with us, one represents the Government of India, Dr. Parimal, and he will bring the government thinking, government perspective. And we have three successful entrepreneurs in different fields. One in the defense technologies, the drones. One is the pharma industry, which has been connected by Dr. Naved, and one in the autonomous agri vehicle. I think we will listen from them. I would like to stop here and thank you very much for listening.
So friends, first of all, let me compliment Dr. A.K. Singh for his wonderful presentation. Let's give a big clap to Dr. A.K. Singh for very lucidly bringing out the MIT's core research, innovation strength, its contributions. And I should say a few words about him because some of you may not know, except Parimal knows, but the startups who are coming from, who are joining us, and also those about 80 people who have joined online. 86 people have joined online. So I welcome all of you. And A.K. Singh has been the Director General in the Defense Research and Development Organization, looking after all the life support technology, soldier support, right from selection, placement, nutrition, clothing, personal protective equipment, man-machine interface, and adaptation to environment, soldiers' performance, and military motivation, all that he was coordinating as the DG. He is a nuclear medicine specialist and a highly accomplished scientist in his own field. He has found a drug to decorporate if a nucleide enters into the system. How do you decorporate? So nuclear decontamination, he has developed a product which has been introduced into the services and many more. So compliments to you that we are very proud to have him. And I had the opportunity of working with him in DRDO. Yes, we have been colleagues together in DRDO. And so great. I'm so happy to listen to, the presentation you made. Very lucid compliments. Dr. Neeraj Sharma, he has been the Secretary of the Technology Development Board. He has been at that level in the Government of India, Dr. Neeraj Sharma. And he has been the architect of many new schemes, innovative approaches in DST. He has given new paradigm. One to mention Technology Enabling Center, which he made a few slides. He is the architect of the whole scheme. Many technology missions he has driven there. So such a great leader is here. Also, there are both of them. He is Deputy Director General here, and he is the Senior Vice President of our foundation, Amity Foundation for Science, Technology and Innovation Alliances, Dr. A.K. Singh. And Dr. Neeraj Sharma is the Deputy Director General for the AFSTIA, Amity Foundation for Science, Technology and Innovation Alliances. And the founder president has conveyed his blessings to all our guests, particularly Parimal. Yes. We also welcome founder president sir, who has been listening to this from the very beginning, and he has been the architect of this. So in fact, we are discussing his mission and his vision to contribute to Viksit Bharat and Atmanirbhar Bharat. Founder president, thank you very much for giving this architecture for this whole event. And also we are fortunate to have Vice Chancellor Dr. Balvinder Shukla, who has also joined among many other distinguished vice chancellors. And Pankaj Goyal has joined online. Welcome, Pankaj Goyal from Autotex and Automation Private Limited, and also the IMBISAT FCA.
Thank you.
AFIFA. Thank you for joining. And so we are meeting in a very, very important situation. See, the next 25 years is going to be critical for our country. Viksit Bharat in Atmanirbhar Bharat, which should happen in Amrit Kal, next 25 years. 75 years we have done very well. Now, what is that we are going to do to make our country self-reliant in technologies and also make our country rich and powerful? Economically, militarily, and also knowledge-wise. So this discussion today, we must keep at the back of our mind, how do we enable our country to achieve this status very fast? Viksit Bharat and Atmanirbhar Bharat, for which Amity is making a very significant contribution. Today, when you say that at national level, if we have reached a level of 3rd in publication, 7th in nature index, 9th in patents, but in innovation index, we are low. Our innovation index even has moved from 81 to 40, but 40 is not the right place for India to be. So why it is not so? Because that innovation culture has not percolated down. So Amity is trying to contribute in this transformation of focusing on research and innovation. Founder president has transformed all our Amity institutions, whatever is 12 universities in India, 18 campuses abroad, 28 schools, all of them are research and innovation driven institutions. That means even in curriculum design, pedagogy, delivery, and also ultimately the outcome is towards that you should be able to contribute that innovation culture and put it in their DNA to express. So that is why this meeting is very important. So I am very happy to welcome all the 4 guests who have joined us. Shri Parimal, again, he has been my colleague at DRDO for many years. We have worked together. And Mr. Pankaj Goyal, whom I have met in startup meetings, as well as he is also Defense is a major partner and client for him. And so we are very happy to have Vikram Bansal, Pankaj Goyal, and also IMBIV AFIFA. And now a few more words I want to say. What do we expect from this? Because Amity's research innovation culture, he has already brought what is our strength, what we have done so far. And we have about 40,000 research papers, a H index, and patents, everything he has mentioned. But 30 technology transfers and only a few student startups is not sufficient. So founder has said, we must have in this year alone, 25 faculty startups. So today, if we see, we have only about three startups. One is Shivani, one in Haryana, Amity University, Haryana. We have Atul Thakur, one in Bombay. So very few, and maybe one in Chhattisgarh. So this number we want to augment. So we want to listen from you, your experiences as startups. How did you do that? So we want to share your best practices. How did you struggle to reach this level? You are all successful startups. So we want to learn from you. That is one objective. The second objective is also to look at how do we partner with you. How do we partner with you? Because once you come here, we would like to have a sustainable connect with you and bring synergy. So let us listen to you, and then ultimately we will take it forward. I will make some remarks at the end. So once again, on behalf of Founder President, Chancellors, and also the Vice Chancellor, and on my own behalf, On behalf of everyone in Amity, welcome our distinguished guests.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I think now we will request Dr. Parimal to share his thoughts on the startups in the academic institutes. Certainly, I'll request if you can, just emphasize more on, as if, as a layman, I come to you that I say that I am a researcher, I have 4 patents, and I have done one technology transfer, but I want to start a startup. So would you mind sharing with me what are the policies? How do I go about it? What are the likely bottlenecks? If you had encountered that, how did you overcome? So that, I am well prepared and I am also incited that I should go for the startup. And now, Dr. Parimal, who is at present the scientific advisor to Chief of Integrated Staff Committee. And he has done his master's in computer science from Allahabad University. Then he did his MTech in computer science from IIT Delhi. Then he has done his master's in business administration. And then he has also done PhD. And the topic of his PhD had been the technology transfer. And I had the privilege of interacting with him when I was in DRDO. I had found him a very sharp and very dedicated and a learner. And when he was posted in DRDO, because though he started his career after his post-graduation with SAG, RAC, Recruitment and Assessment Center. Then he went to SAG, which is the System and Analysis Group, where they work on, cryptography, decrypting the signals. Then he was transferred to DRDO headquarters. There at that time, he was involved in industry interface, Directorate of DI Square Industry Interface, and Technology Management. And during that time, he did his PhD and he had the opportunity of connecting with various agencies like FICCI, ASSOCHAM, etc. And after a stint at DRDO headquarters, now he is in the present position. And he has published many research papers, and his research interests are big data analytics, artificial intelligence, and quantum computing. And he has also received the CISC commendation certificate. And he also supports and speaks on various forums on technopreneurship and startup funding. So I think over to Dr. Parimal, an old colleague and my friend. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for a very nice introduction. And this is always a pleasure to come to this campus. This is my 3rd time when I have come to this campus, and every time it's a pleasure. A very beautiful campus, world-class facilities, and Dr. Selva Murthy, sir, speaking in front of you after a long time. So I can tell, or rather I have observed, it's a feeling that if this university would have been established after 2016, that is when this Startup India policy came up, this would have been the most successful startup of this country. So hats off to the founder president, Dr. Chauhan. He is an inspiration for all entrepreneurs in this country and all startups. And there is a lot of things, perhaps someday somebody will research on his life time and what were his characteristics which made him such a successful entrepreneur, I'll say. And this university, such a large university, well-known university across the country, across the world, brought so many laurels. So I'm really proud, and hats off to the founder president. Dr. A.K. Singh sir, Dr. Selvamurthy sir, and also Dr. Neeraj Sharma sir. Perhaps it makes me nostalgic working with you all. Perhaps Dr. Neeraj Sharma sir would not have been remembering that once I went to him while doing my PhD to get data from him. and, 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 and also I was member of some of the committees of TDB where we used to make funding decisions. So there cannot be a more, what do you say, friendly, homely, on working, speaking speaking in front of my gurus and mentors. So with this coming to the topic of today, when Dr. A.K. Singh sir sent me the mail, in the beginning the topic was startups and transfer of technology. So with further discussions, it emerged that the actual role which we are today, we are looking up, and then the aim of setting up of startups, faculty-led startups, is more close to the topic role of academia in Indian startup ecosystem. And then we started with this topic. So I'll try to, already so much has been spoken by stalwarts, and I'll try to do justice with the subject. Since I'm coming from defense background, next slide please. And my lectures, I title them as Knowledge to Wealth series lectures, because when we are coming to this academic institution, and basically what we are talking of, we are basically converting the knowledge or the intangible property, the intellectual property, finally into the wealth. And when I say wealth, it not only means money, it means lot of many things, and which also includes how to retain and sustain the wealth, or protect the wealth, and there comes the role of the defense forces. And coming from this background, I'll just briefly speak about my two organizations from where I belong to. DRDO, as many of you would be knowing. Next slide, please. The vision of DRDO is empowering the nation with the state-of-the-art indigenous defense technologies and systems. So even DRDO was established in 1958, and long before, when this Startup India program came up and we started talking of startups, already there was one organization which was working relentlessly on the development of indigenous defense technologies. And when you talk of defense technologies are not only meant for defense forces or the armed forces. They have got their spin-offs, and which affects the society at large. And also it makes the country wealthy by two means. First of all, it reduces the imports, which we'll see in the next slide also. It reduces the imports, and secondly, it leads to it has a cascading effect of development of many other technologies. And further, when we talk of exports, so we are able to export the technologies also. So DRDO's vision has been empowering this nation, not only technologically, but also economically. And the mission of DRDO has been to design, develop, and lead to production state-of-the-art sensors, weapon systems, platforms, and allied equipments for our defense services, and provide technological solutions to the services to optimize combat effectiveness and to promote well-being of the troops, and develop infrastructure and committed quality manpower and build a strong indigenous technology base. So this is the mission of DRDO. Now let's see how defense R&D and economic growth are related. All the rich countries, those who are militarily advanced, economically superpowers, they have a strong defense R&D base. And knowledge is the single most important source of power. Uncertainty of information in its availability becomes the most relevant cause to invest in knowledge. And I'm very happy that this great university, Amity University, is also working in that direction, and they are investing in developing the IPR and knowledge. sharing of knowledge and strategically important international collaborations takes place amongst equals. Actually, strength respects strength. And if we are, and strength not only comes from the weapons, but behind the weapon, the knowledge. Balasya moolam vijnanam. So, any country will talk to you on equal terms only when you are also strong. So, it takes place amongst equal or near equals based on complementary strengths. And acquisition of critical technologies could only be achieved by pursuing R&D activities, as no country will share frontline technologies with unequal. No country shares, and we have experienced it in past 50, more than around 70 years, that no country gives you the frontline technology. You have to develop the frontline technology and the core technologies on your own. R&D activities work silently in the background of the economic development. And at DRDO, we have done a benefit to cost ratio analysis, sir, if you remember. That the study was carried by the National Council for Applied Economic Research. And for the period from 1962 to 82, for every 1 rupee spent on the defense R&D, the return was 27 paisa, which is 27%, which is very high return. And from 82 to 2007, when our IGMDP program was successful and the systems were developed and getting inducted and going into production, the return was as high as 36%. So economically also, if you talk of the return on investment, the investment in defense R&D has been very, very successful and well intended, and return of investment from managerial aspect, simply from financial point of view also is well deserved. The BCR growing significantly, benefit to cost ratio is growing significantly since 2007, with more and more systems getting inducted in all three services. And the book value of product systems technology developed by DRDO is nearly 5 lakh crores, to be precise 4.94 lakh crores. So if we see that the intellectual property which we are developing, that makes us economically strong, not in addition to be militarily strong. And why should we bother about technology? Technology is power. When we say intellectual property, actually it is power and will continue to be so in the foreseeable future. And this is the statement by Principal Scientific Advisor to Government of India, Dr. R. Chidambaram. And the Western world fully understands this and hence tries to control the flow of technologies through control regimes. Those who control technologies control the world. This we can realize today. Previous slide only. Previous slide. Today I was coming, and when I was coming, just lost the way in the last mile. I was wondering, so I started the navigation from Google. If this navigation from Google is stopped, don't you think our lives will get controlled? So this is not also a military technology, a civilian technology. And the way we are functioning today, WhatsApp, I'm talking just now for information technology only. If those technologies are controlled, and that's why we had alternate of Google as Navic. And in military, we are slowly going from, we are using our own navigation system from the Indian constellation, which we call as Navic. Next slide, please. And why do we need to develop military technology in India? Because there is a triple trap syndrome. What is developed abroad will not suit our threat-specific requirements. For example, electronic warfare. The systems, equipments, weapon platforms which are developed for cold climates, certainly they will not be able to perform in the same way in our deserts of Rajasthan, the Thar desert. What is suitable will be denied. The front-end technologies are denied, and what is not denied will be unaffordable. Many times we will not be able to afford them to buy. So with a calculated degree of invulnerability to military technology denial, and independent foreign policy cannot be sustained. If we want to be independent, we need to invest in technology. So self-reliance, sir, we are trying to develop technologies, intellectual property. One aim of this is to become self-reliant in everything. Because when there is a situation where people can control you by controlling the technologies. So we need to be self-reliant in all, not only in military, but in civilian world also. As I give the example of Google navigation. So we can be controlled in our civilian life also. So developing technology, it gives us immunity against the technology denials and leads to self-reliance. Next slide, please. Is there any alternative of indigenous research and development? There is no alternative. And I put just one example here, lesson to learn from UK. And this is an old example when in 1991, Mrs. Margaret Thatcher was the Prime Minister of UK. The British Army was interested in procurement of either MBT German Leopard 2 or USA made M1A2 Abrams, their main battle tank. But as today we have, sir, the lists where we cannot procure from abroad. Similar thing, Mrs. Margaret Thatcher did it in 1991 in UK. And she told that British Army cannot go to the war with a major imported platform. And then the team of scientists, engineers and everything was, service officers was constituted, and MBT Challenger 2 was developed, which is a success story today. Recently, we have this ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. In this situation, now we are experiencing that the equipments which we have got from Russia, it's a spare parts. It's an issue. Then we have learned from the Israel-Hamas war that there is no alternative to the indigenous research and development. Next. Yeah, and self-reliance. So this is a little background about, a very brief thing about DRDO. Now, the current organization where I am posted, Headquarter Integrated Defense Staff. Next slide, please. After the Kargil conflict, the government constituted the Kargil Review Committee to carry out an in-depth review and analysis of security management system in the country. We all know the Kargil war, and the recommendations of the Kargil Review Committee were considered by the group of ministers, which made specific proposals for implementation. So after Kargil war, this headquarter integrated, there was a need that all the three services should be integrated, which we called as tri-services. And then this headquarter integrated defense staff was constituted. Next slide, please. The motto of headquarter IDS is act as a point organization for jointsmanship. All the three armed forces work jointly, and these days you must be reading in the news, the theaterization in MOD, which integrates policy, doctrine, warfighting and procurement by employing best management practices. Next. The motto is victory through jointness. And in research also, we talk of connecting the dots, various groups, multidisciplinary. So it's not only in war, it's in research also, everywhere we need jointness. And we define the technology requirements because one of the charter of duties of headquarter IDS is to procure the equipments and provide for armed forces. Process of technology intake, identification of technology and preparation of roadmaps, service headquarters perspective. Next slide, please. So we decide what technologies will be required, do the forecasting and try to procure it and provide it to armed forces right in time. Next slide, please. Promoting indigenization. Atmanirbharta or indigenization or self-reliance, which we say is the necessity of the day, and building a strong defense industry is a hallmark of self-reliance. Headquarter IDS in collaboration with Department of Defense Research and Development, which we also, DRDO is one organization under Department of Defense Research and Development. Department of Defense Production has supported the steering of flexible schemes such as Technology Development Fund and Innovation for Defense Excellence in Mission Mode. I put up these slides. Basically, I want to say that for self-reliance, startups have to play a role. Please, next slide, please. And this is my role, rendering advice on all scientific aspects of weapon platforms, military operations, surveillance, support and logistics in all likely theaters of conflict. Next slide, please. Okay. So coming to the today's topic on startups and role of academia in startups. But before we go to startups, first I like to go to entrepreneurship. What do you mean by entrepreneurship? And what happens? Somebody starts a new business. Can we call it entrepreneurship? Call him as an entrepreneur. So what are the characteristics of entrepreneurship? And entrepreneurs have a characteristics. Next slide, please. That entrepreneur is a person who recognizes a commercial opportunity and creates an organization to pursue it, uses their own managerial or technical talents, and some combination of human and financial capital, and bears the risk of success or failure. Let's take an example. Suppose somebody starts a restaurant, a small restaurant, to meet his livelihood. Can we call him as an entrepreneur? The answer is no. If we see the entrepreneurs companies, basically they are all driven by technology, and driven by technology like Microsoft, Bill Gates, Google, Michael Sibel, Larry Page, they started. So what makes them different from the other person who is starting a small business? We also called as lifestyle businesses. And lifestyle businesses, even though they are business, there the person also recognizes a commercial opportunity and person pursues it through an organization. Still, it is not entrepreneurship. So we will see in the next slides that what makes a startup and how it is different from entrepreneur, and how entrepreneurship is different from a lifestyle business. So entrepreneurial roadmap is that the person, whosoever is an entrepreneur, identifies an opportunity, creates an organizational structure, develops a plan, develops a business model. A business model is a very, very important topic we'll further see. Defines a strategy, gets financing. Getting financing is a very difficult thing, especially in the early stage financing. Implement business plan and manage growth. This definition I have taken from the Entrepreneur's Toolkit of Harvard Business Essentials. Next slide, please. So we talk of entrepreneurs, but now the new buzz is technopreneur. And technopreneur is a person who recognizes a commercial opportunity and pursues it through a technology or intellectual property driven organization. So all technopreneurial ventures are essentially technology driven. Their own managerial or technical talents they use, and some combination of human and financial capital, and bears the risk of success or failure. There is a theory of creative disruption by Joseph Schumpeter. Schumpeter is considered as a leading personality, father of entrepreneurship in academic world. And he has given a theory of creative disruption, who says that technopreneurs, they create a technology, they create a technopreneurial venture, which disrupts the entire ecosystem. And though it disrupts, but in the process it creates also, and very large businesses are created. Let's take example of WhatsApp, email. Today it has disrupted. We don't write letters and send it through posts. So the way we have been working, similarly the way we drive the cars, the way now electricity is delivered. We sometimes back we were talking of wireless transmission of power. So now we have reached to that stage that yes, up to 10 feet, 20 feet, but we are able to transfer power, transfer electricity, electrical signals in a wireless this thing. So these technologies have disrupted. if we go for communication and the field from which I come from, cryptology, and so quantum computing, that has entirely disrupted the thing. And slowly as it will come, move further, so we'll see that the way we have been working, that will get disrupted. So there is theory of creative disruption, and the technopreneurs, they disrupt. And the point which I want to make, the maximum economic impact which is made by technopreneurs. There is a famous research paper where one researcher has studied the street vendors. Street vendors, can we consider them entrepreneur? They are also doing the same kind of business, but they are not able to make the impact. Why? Because they are not using the right technology. And today we see that there are companies which have come country delight. They are also selling vegetables, but there is Amazon Fresh. So doing same thing using technology, that disrupts the way we work. And today we are I'm taking examples from civil in this thing, that we get the milk and vegetables at our doorstep early in the morning. This has disrupted light, and these are the companies which make the maximum economic impact. So Sumpeter, Holcombe, Winkers, Mulyan, there are several researchers who have highlighted the impact of technology and innovation-based entrepreneurs in the growth of economy. And I've deliberately put this theory of creative disruption on this slide to make a point, sir, that what we are trying to do at MAT, that will also disrupt the whole ecosystem, and it will have a huge economic impact also. But there is a catch, which I'll cover in the following the next slides also, that 75% to 85% of tech startups fail. And there are several researchers. Steve Blank, he has given in Harvard Business Review in May 2013. And here we are talking of tech startups. We take those which are not technology based, this figure goes to more than 90%. Next slide, please. So why do we need technopreneurship? Already my previous speakers have also spoken that startups have got huge potential of creating employment. And these are some of the examples which says that there is a lot of unemployment in this country. I'm not reading the title of the slide, but it speaks for itself that why do we need technopreneurs and why do we need startups? One of the reasons is to enhance employment and have an impact on the economy. Next slide, please. So the question is, if considering the potential of startups, technopreneurs on the economy, Government of India launched this Startup India on 16th January 2016. Because every new business entity is not a startup. And for the first time, it was formally defined that who is a startup in the Startup Action Plan in January 2016. Next slide, please. Sir, so this is the definition of a startup. It says that an entity shall be considered as a startup up to a period of 10 years from the date of incorporation or registration, if it is incorporated as a private limited company or registered as a partnership firm under Section 59 of the Partnership Act 1932, or a limited liability partnership in India. Sir, as you had mentioned that if a new researcher comes and he wants to set up a startup, so by this definition, he should first start either a private limited company or a partnership firm or a limited liability partnership. Now, amongst these three also, what one should choose in the beginning. So when, if here a faculty starts a startup, he or she will have lot of infrastructure support. But if somebody starts on their own bootstrapping, then definitely resources will be very, very scarce. And in that case, he or she should go for a form of the company where there are minimum mandatory compliances required from government. because in the beginning it will be difficult to hire an advocate or a chartered accountant to meet those compliances. So my advice out of these three forms is that one should go for the LLP, and private limited company can come later. And of course, public limited company is the last stage when you go for IPO. Turnover of the entity for any of the financial years since incorporation or registration has not exceeded rupees 100 crores. The turnover should not exceed 100 crores. The day the turnover exceeds 100 crores, the company is no more a startup. So while speaking, or even in this presentation, I am also speaking loosely that Paytm or Zomato or Byju's, they as startups, but they are actually not startups because they had crossed this limit of rupees 100 crore. Then entity should be working towards innovation. So by that example, while I was speaking that if somebody starts a restaurant, a small restaurant or a tea shop, there is no innovation in that because they are not using, when we talk of innovation, it is technology innovation. But Chayos is a startup because they are using technology. The same business, same type of customers, but since he is using technology, so it becomes a startup. It fulfills the definition of innovation. So entity should be working towards innovation, development or improvement of products or processes or services. Or if it is a scalable business model, somebody starts a tea shop, 5 tea shops. Suppose each one in this way, 5 tea shops in this vicinity of Noida. Is not a startup, but Starbucks is a startup because it is a highly scalable model. Not of that, because of that 100 crores. It's not bad. No, not because of that. That is true, sir. But if what I am trying to say, that is scalable business model, and if the business is really scalable, it will cross definitely that 100 crore mark, and the day it crosses 100 marks, then it's not. So Chayos, I think they have also crossed the 100 crores this thing. Okay. Provided that an entity formed by splitting up or reconstruction of an existing business shall not be considered as a startup. So by splitting, we cannot do it. Next slide, please. So these are the stages of life cycle of a startup. And if you see the stage 1, that's the stage of, sir, I can take another 10 minutes? Because I need to do justice with the subject. So the first stage is the concept or ideation stage, and here we get the self-financing and bootstrapping one has to do. The second stage is seed or validation stage, and here the 3 F's, family, friends, angel investors, micro VCs, they come for the rescue, and we get the financing from there. At this stage, we have the prototype ready. The third stage is early traction stage, and there we have the product services launched in the market, and angel investors, they pitch in. At stage 4, the product service going to market, and here the venture funds, bank loan, private equity firm. So here actually we start getting the funding. And the 5th stage is the IPO stage, where we actually exit from the startup, and there we can get a stock market funding. Next slide, please. Startup funding life cycle, and here the one point which I want to make, then the stage 1, if you see, there is a valley of death, which is called as valley of death. See, because here we do not get funding, and most of the startups end up here. And here, this is the actual problem with the startups, where we need the early stage funding. Next slide, please. Why startups fail? So this is an example of Snapdeal, and I have also put Byju's, Paytm, Zomato, Policybazaar, even though we go strictly, so they are not this thing. But we can say that at the time of IPO or the exit, after that, their share values have drastically dropped, and we can say that they have failed. So startups fail because they make many mistakes, and that is where the concept of business model comes in, that why should we study business models of a startup. Next slide, please. The business model of a startup is defined as a business model describes the rationale of how an organization creates, delivers, and captures values. This is the definition by Alexander Osterwalder, who has given the concept of business model canvas. And it is prudent. Next slide. It is prudent to study the business model of tech startups prior to investment rather than after they fail. And we can study the business models beforehand, before the investment. And next slide, please. Next slide, please. So this is the business model typology, and this is called the business model ontology. We'll see in the next slide in more details. Next slide. So we can put the 9 components of a business model of a startup in this business model canvas. Their key partners, key activities, key resources, customer value proposition. And on the right side, we have customer relationship, customer segments, channels, cost structure, revenue. If we fill this canvas, then in one slide, we can analyze the startup, and this will be very useful to analyze the performance of a startup. I put, for the sake of example, in key resources, the number of patents, while in key resources, we have human resource also, infrastructure also. So this is one, if we keep analyzing this and take corrective actions, the chances of failure becomes very less, and it will be required when we go for the faculty startups at MIT. The lean startup business model. Next slide, please. This lean startup business model has been given by Steve Blank from Harvard, and the key principles of lean business model is that business model canvas is in place of an intricate business plan, because it is simpler to do. Then we keep taking customer feedback from the early stage and improving, and the agile development. We make a quick prototype, take customer feedback, and do the improvements. Next slide, please. So this reduces the chances of failure because we are taking very regularly the customer feedback. So existing government programs to support innovation and entrepreneurship. I think this is one slide from where I've tried to list down all the funding mechanisms available as of now. So Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Department of Production for Industry and International Trade, they have these 3 schemes: Startup India, Credit Guarantee Scheme for Startups, and the Startup India Seed Funding Scheme. Considering the large number of startups failing in the valley of death, they have come up with this Startup India Seed Funding Scheme, and here they do the early stage funding. Then Ministry of Defense, we have 2 schemes: Department of Defense R&D and DRDO. We have TDF Technology Development Fund run by DRDO. Then Department of Defense Production, they run the IDEX Innovation Defense Excellence Program. Then Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, METI, they have a METI Startup Hub, and they run a funding program called TIDE, Technology Incubation and Development of Entrepreneurs. Next slide, please. Then Ministry of Science and Technology has got several programs. The NSTEDB, National Science and Technology Entrepreneurship Development Board, they run a program called NIDHI, National Initiative for Developing and Harnessing Innovation. And NIDHI is actually a bunch of 7 programs. I have not put all of them because of shortage of time, and I'll not deliberate on all of them. But NIDHI is one program where they have got programs for meeting requirements of startups at almost all the stages except at the IPO stage. Then Technology Development Board, Sarma sir, this is yours. And okay, then DBT BIRAC. Okay, next slide, please. Then Ministry of MSME has a program called Aspire. Then Ministry of Planning has got through Niti Aayog has got the Atal Innovation Mission. Then Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare has got this Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana, and they have a scheme called Raftar. DSIR also has got. So
Multiplier grant.
there are many more. So I'm not covering all of them. Okay. This is one slide which shows the screen of Startup India. If you go on this website, so this is very elaborate mechanisms they have been given in detail. Next slide, please. Startup India, we from Defense, we had launched the DISC program, Defense India Startup Challenge, DISC as we call. Next slide, please. Then from Defense Ministry, again, opportunities for startups in defense. Next slide. This is by DRDO. Next slide. This is Technology Development Fund. They have a technology grid that in which technology areas, this is not coming visible, that in which technology areas there are opportunities. So, finally coming to the role of academic institutions. I tried to jot down the lessons from Silicon Valley, and three well-known universities in Silicon Valley, triple helix as we say, UC Berkeley, Stanford and UC San Francisco, have shaped the evaluation of Silicon Valley. So what they have done? These 4 steps I could cull out from some of the research papers. The first step is that fostering entrepreneurship education through the creation of new programs, competition and activities, even in non-entrepreneurial courses and in multidisciplinary contexts. Changing the focus of OTLs, including the commercialization of sciences and technology through entrepreneurs. Connecting universities and their communities, staff, student and alumni with investors. This third step is very important. And fourth, creating advanced infrastructure for translational research. I'm very glad to know that we have also a Center for Translational Research at Amity that may be expected to become ever more closely linked to incubation and accelerator programs, irrigating the valley of death between the identification and commercialization of useful findings. Next slide, please. Indian scenario. So I was going through the data by Traction and other databases. As we know that startups are crucial to economic growth because they create jobs which lead to lower unemployment rate, which in turn signifies a more developed economy. Already covered, we have more than 1 lakh DPIIT recognized startups. As per publicly available literature, basically I was talking of Traction data, leading academic institutions who have shaped the Indian startup ecosystem are IITs, followed by IIMs, Indian School of Business and WITS Planning. Around 45% of the founders come from these institutions. IIT Madras has set up Center to Study Indian Startup Ecosystem called as CREST. India has many well-known startups coming from the higher educational institutions that include Chaos, Atomberg, Grey Orange, Dunjo, etc. Next slide, please. So, as a way forward, I asked the question to myself that how Stanford, UC Berkeley and UC San Francisco universities have helped in evolving an entrepreneurial ecosystem in Silicon Valley, and can Amity University strive to create the same impact in this region, in Noida NCR or in the whole country? So this is the moot question, and perhaps that is, in my opinion, perhaps that is one of the aims of having this startup faculty startup program. So I tried to study the publicly available research papers in this area, and I have also one paper published where I have tried to dwell on this issue also. So these 4 steps, if we follow, in my opinion, we'll be able to do justice with what we intend to do, is that improvise curriculum to develop an entrepreneurial mindset amongst students instead of a fixed mindset. Discover to uncover. By discover to uncover, I mean that we have to find that what are the local problems which has got a commercial potential also. So that the problem itself needs to uncovered. Local problems and local solutions will come. Then innovations, challenges, hackathons like DISC we had in Ministry of Defense. So this change the, if we make them the part of curriculum, it will improvise the curriculum. Then motivate the students to incubate instead of seeking jobs. Why seek jobs when you can incubate and start startups? And same stands for faculty also, if they can start the startups. Enhance the capacity of existing incubators. Can we have a incubator which is of the size of Y Combinator? China has. Perhaps we also need. And seek funding through government schemes, private ventures by establishing government industry connect. That we need to do. So if you follow these 4 steps, I believe that we'll be able to do what Amity University and what is the vision of the founder president, that we'll be able to achieve that. At least we'll be moving in the right direction. Next slide. So the title of my presentation, Knowledge to Wealth. If from knowledge, curiosity, creativity, innovation, technopreneurship, that leads to creation of startups. And finally, as you have seen, they have impact on the economy and we'll be able to create wealth. Next slide, please. So our aim of Atmanirbhar Bharat. My point is that we should not be satisfied only with Atmanirbhar Bharat. We should be Sarva Pratham Bharat. As you have already told. that in the Stanford University, when you were mentioning that we have around 30 faculty members from this institution, this great university, who are in that list.
Yeah.
So definitely we have the potential to become Sarvapratham Bharat also. It's not that we do not have the potential. Let's make our country technologically more advanced, economically wealthier, and militarily stronger. Next slide, please. With this, I thank all of you. My mobile number and email ID is there. Whosoever want to connect me later on, please connect me. Next slide, please. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Parimal, for, taking us through the journey of, who is entrepreneur, what is the definition of startup, and what are the types of startups, and what are the models, and which is the suitable model for us, and some case studies of taking, how academia has changed the landscape of startup and made the mark, and also giving us direction that MIT can also make its mark and, come to that level and much beyond. Thank you. I think we are running behind the time. I'll go to the next speaker, Mr. Vikram Bansal. I think I will also, if he permits, give his introduction in short. I'll say that he is the founder of Astrobot Technologies Private Limited, who works in drones, and he had been working in UAV verticals of various companies like Tata Advanced Systems. Then he also was head of operations for defense arm of Motherson Group for 2 years. And earlier also he had a long stint at Tata Motors. And he is an engineering graduate from Delhi College of Engineering. Then did his master's in business administration from Management Development Institute, Gurgaon. And the biodata which I could get, he is receiving the award from the secretary DDR&D, Chairman DRDO, after he gave a wonderful talk at Aero India 2023. I think कहते हैं ना कि ये लाइन ही काफी है आपके इंट्रोडक्शन के लिए. Okay, I think over to Vikram.
Thank you, sir. I've been given the mandate. First of all, thank you to everyone for calling me. Dr. Sharma and Dr. Singh have been saying that the whole objective should be that I tell more about my journey of the startup, especially for the teachers who want to embark on this particular process. So just to make you understand, I'll just go through a couple of things. My friend, the one who is handling the presentation, can you go to my folder, please? No, it's the folder is above. Yes, just play the two videos so that then we can be done with the. So we are the second company in the country to have the drone show capability. We would have been the first, but then I didn't have the money to start earlier, and then the COVID also hit. So money is going to be a huge portion of my discussion. So we'll come to that. Yeah. Go ahead and just play it. This is the IIT Kanpur campus in Sector 62 at the background. Sound nahi bhi hoga chalega. It's all right. It's just a. That's okay. Sound, if it's not there, it's all right. It's okay. Just. Right. Just keep it. Go to the next. Go to the next video, please. This is the IIT Kanpur campus, the only campus which has a functioning airfield. And hence it is, the infrastructure is a critical part of any startup, like a tech startup. This is what we did, and we are very proud of it. It's a 22 kg bird, so probably be relating it with a lot. Years ago with NTRO Deputy Director we met, and for the anti-Naxal operations he wanted something similar when I was in Tatas, and somehow once I left the project got, so now I've initiated it, and to make the long range fixed wing aircraft. You can just escape it now, this okay. So these are some of the products that we make.
He needs,
No.
good.
Thank you. But it's still a long journey. So we are incubated at IIT Kanpur. Okay, go to the next slide, please. The introduction will just help me share. I've not made a separate slide for what to, but the journey is very critical. So we are incubated at IIT Kanpur. It gives us a lot of benefits. I'll come to that. We are registered as an MSME and a startup. We are focused on civil and military application, unmanned systems, basically, drones. We have design and development capability. My biggest strength is that me and my team come from the industry with a lot of experience. And that, I guess, I think a lot of people are in a hurry to do a startup, but I believe that a lot of experience is also needed. I believe so. That's my personal opinion, which I can be very wrong. There's no one way of life. So we got incubated in 21, which was a big, I was still working in the industry. We got an MSME grant. So just to tell you, MSME grant I got 1.5 years ago. 30% has come in 1.5 years ago. Tech has moved away, but MSME hasn't completed the grant. No mind. So we started sale of drone components. I'll show you how revenue is very, very critical for any startup to quickly hit the revenue mark. We did the development of the drone show. We got our first order recently. I've been working with the Defense Corridor in through IIT Kanpur, through which we got a lot of salaries for my team. We also got Nidhi Prayas grant. Next, please. Why this is critical, why this slide is critical is what I want to show is that at least in my journey, in my way of life, I got in, I first got a lot of experience working in Tata Advanced System. Defense is my forte. I wanted to be in the army. Defense is what I sleep and dream and think about. That's my passion. One of the things one has to really see whenever you're starting on any journey is that why are you doing what you're doing? Is it wealth, which is fair enough? Is it tech? Is it value creation? You have to know that. Otherwise, you will lose steam very quickly. And plus, I built a corpus. I started doing a small startup with my friends 6-7 years ago in EduTech. Failed. Okay. Tried many things. Thought I'll get into property. I'll do this. I'll do that. But no. Then I found through Tata's, I actually learned entrepreneurship. We bought out a small company which was owned by Tata, which was by IIT Kanpur's guys, a brilliant startup called Aurora Integrated System. And I ran that company after Tata's bought it out. So that was my touch with entrepreneurship. So I always tell students when I give my lecture, I also love to teach that if you can hold a shadi on your own or a conference like this, then you know what an entrepreneurship means. Okay, so that's very critical that one of the training institutes for you can be doing such events, even holding that is in itself entrepreneurship. I'm not going to take too much. I can get into what all I do. I'm trying to make engines. With Dr. Kamath, I was requesting, I mean, you're like trying to get some 10 crores to create India's own, in our tech field. We cannot be Atmanirbhar in drones unless we have the components. I was just talking to sirs here, Dr. Singh and Dr. Sharma, that 90% of the components that I use are from China, and I'm fighting China. So, I mean, that's crazy. I went to Abu Dhabi show, the drone show. I'm going to US now because you have to keep abreast with what's happening. And I saw Chinese guys, I'm very proud of, I'm the first guy who made, me and my team, the 22 kg bird. In Abu Dhabi, there were 5 companies who were making 500 kg class drone, and they're ready to offer to me. I've got a Shahid 136 replica in my phone, which they're ready to sell to me. So you imagine where they are. Shahid 136 is the Ukraine war Iranian drone, which has been doing the maximum destruction. The Chinese are ready to offer me, an Indian, the same structure. Please go and use, because they're so much ahead of us that a Shahid and all is like, please go and buy it from me and give me your money. So I really don't want to get into that domain because then it'll become very technical. But the most important thing which IIT Kanpur gives me is what I want. I think my presentation gave me more else. So let's go to the next one, please, and then we'll just stop that. So Professor A.K. Ghosh is also ex-DRDO. Then, I mean, of course, he's retired now. He's working with Tata Advanced System as a consultant, and he's been a great mentor, very, very, encouraging person to youngsters. Vinay and Avinash were with me in Tata's. So having a core team, I can't do everything in drones. Vinay is a brilliant integrator. Avinash is an RF guy. And as a team, we cohese very well. They both are earning half their salaries. And that becomes a very, very, like for me as the head, the responsibility of the payment or the salaries of your guys. Please do not start a startup and recruit people unless you have money for at least 1 year to pay their salaries. COVID strikes, you make no sales, you can't chuck people out. That's my philosophy again. Can be wrong. I'm a highly conservative guy that way. Abhishek is by the way, he's an alumnus of MIT. He's from the aerospace department. He has got his own startup also. It's fairly successful. So I'm just going to round up what IIT Kanpur gave me and what and MIT is actually giving you. One of my biggest every month, as a CEO or the head, is my salary bill, right? You get a lot of interns here. They learn, it's free, manpower. That's a great asset that you people have in MIT or any education institute, number one. Number two, you have the infrastructure. I'm telling you to fly my drones. I have been salivating about the area that you have in MIT. If you allow me, sir, please let me come and fly my drones, because you can't fly drones around. So you have so much, you have access to technology. I don't have a 3D printer in my office. I'm sure there is a 3D printer here. So you have so much machinery, test equipment, which I can't even afford, right? You have it right here. Third, you have so many cross-functional departments here. So if you want an electronics guy, I'm sure there's an electronics prof, who can say, oh, this I can make, right? An aerospace guy who can make the structure. So you get a lot of access to things which we people, I mean, as an entrepreneur outside the education community, is not able to get. My next is, one of the biggest, like sir was showing a lot of these options of where you get money from. It is impossible for one guy to keep following that. And because of the IIT Kanpur startup SIIC, Startup Incubation and Innovation Center, there is not only these. So there is a EIL, Engineers India Limited, which has come up with a 1 crore, 5 crore grant, which I have applied for. Maybe I'll get it, maybe I'll not. Maybe let's see. But that access to that ecosystem is given by the institute. So that's a great thing. I mean, I heard that, and so you get so many grants and all, so they can keep helping you there. Next is that you get an access to customers. I'm telling you, no matter what you make, I'm an operations guy. I'm an ops, and a hardcore engineer, and ops, even an MBA. But if you do not sell, there is just no point. With all due respect, sir, I'm also an Indian. Our the number of patents are great world over. Is the ratio of actual marketable patents is very little, which is true in the world, which is not unique to us. But not every patent can be made marketable, right? So that is another thing which a institute gives. Finance, legal, IPR. I can challenge right now in this room, again with all due respect, if somebody can explain to me GST. Can anybody tell me GST for non-finance person? What is GST? Do not tell me, sir, theoretically. GST to me is a pool of money when I buy my material is lying there because how much I buy is always less than what I sell. To access this money, I can go on, I can take a whole session on it. I think CDAC has called me for a session on this. What is GST? What you know theoretically, you will practically only get to know much later on. Okay, so as an entrepreneur, yes.
That's why I was telling you the private limited company.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. Sir, उसमें private limited, I'm just saying, sir, उसमें problem क्या आता है कि suppose if MET wants 1%, if MET wants 1% in it, then you need the private limited. There's a chicken and egg. So nobody can take an equity unless it's a private limited. So a lot of legal IPR related help also you get from the institute. So I'll just quickly wrap up on this because I don't want to take too much time because it's an unending discussion. Anybody has a question later on, I'm most welcome to take those. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks. I think we can. I think the Pankaj Goyal is sending text. You know, he has to leave. I think quickly we will request Pankaj Goyal to just share his thoughts. Pankaj, I'll just briefly introduce you that he has got a 3-decade corporate experience at very senior positions. Then he decided to leave the job and become an entrepreneur. And at the moment, he is the co-founder of AutoNext, and which is AutoNext chairman, Brainwave, and also the chairman of Brainwaves International School. And he is into the autonomous agri vehicles. I think, but his biodata is long. I'll stop here and over to Pankaj.
Thank you very much, Dr. Singh, Dr. Chauhan, Dr. Parimal, and all the very eminent people there. I hope I'm audible. I'm sitting in the car here in Vadodara. I had a meeting. I'm very sorry I had to send this message, but I'm here for a short time. It's very interesting. I've been listening to all of you. First of all, I'm so delighted to see this kind of initiative and what MET is doing. It is really heartwarming. And what Dr. Parimal was explaining about the government infrastructure and what's happening in defense, that's also brings me a lot of pride in my country and really gives me hope that we will be for sure Atmanirbhar, and then we will be leading with technology as a strength in this world strategic forums. So Pankaj Goyal, I've been in the industry for 30 years. Started with I'm a pass out of BITS Pilani. Started with Tata Steel, then Daewoo Motors, then Maruti Udyog, R&D, then Schneider Electric, 16 and a half years of all different kinds of roles. I've built R&D, I've built a lot of patents, I've built, created the creativity centers. So my engineers in the R&D center could create patents. And then I was on to, after my MBA, evening MBA in 2008, I was on to doing the business in other countries. So I was in Paris for 1 year as director for business development. I was vice president for business in Denmark. I was managing director for a group company. I was handling €500 million sitting out of Denmark for Nordic Baltic countries. And then I was in Norway, where I got introduced to something that I love, EV. I was vice president electric distribution there, and I was handling with my 77% market share control with my 2 brands there in Norway. I was handling all the EV infrastructure projects back then in 2015 to 2018 in Norway, and I've seen the transition happen for electric vehicles and how the government policies, how people mindset, and both the troubles, the challenges, and the good side of it. And I was so enthused by this. I came back to India to work on a joint to merger of L&T EAIC back then, 2018-19, 5,500 crore takeover of Schneider Electric of the EAIC division of L&T. Mid of 20, or early 20, I decided to leave. It was enough of corporate, and I wanted to do something of my own. And I titled my presentation as Dr. Singh had asked me. I'm sorry. As Dr. Singh had asked me to bring something that will enthuse the faculty. So I titled my presentation as My Startups at 50 Years of My Age. So I'm 52 now. And I had a cushy job. I could easily go on. I had very comfortable life. But there was something budding inside me. I had done some businesses being in a job outside of my job before, which failed. But I wanted to do something of my own. And so I worked with my brother-in-law who has had small businesses. So Dr. Parimal's definition of entrepreneur, MSME, and startup versus all of that. The school was with a path-breaking idea of bringing the world-class education to B towns at the affordability of B towns. So it was with a difference. I'll come back to that. And I built that in a record time of 7 months, the entire building, and started the session, handed it over. Again, what Mr. Vishal was mentioning about the team. So built the team with my, here in this case, it happened to be a family team. So my wife, my brother-in-law, and then we took professional help of a very known consultant, Next Education, to build this. And MET International, of course, you would be aware of all these educational related things. And we are fully digital school, and we are challenging the level of education in B towns. And this is our first venture. Then in middle of 21, August 21 to be precise, I came across AutoNext Automation. So it was my mentor, Mr. I.V. Rao, who is the distinguished fellow in TERI, executive director R&D of Maruti Udyog, who hired me in Maruti Udyog back in 99. Told me that I was generally talking to him, and he said, I told him that, sir, I have built this school and I've handed it over to the team, and I want to get back to my passion, which is EV, and I don't want to go back in a job. I could have gone for there were some interviews which I did for some MD positions, VP positions, COO positions, and all that. But I did not really want to do that. It was something bubbling in me to do something of my own. And I joined AutoNext as co-founder and COO. So what is AutoNext? We are building off-road automation technology where we have a patent filed and high torque electric powertrain for off-road applications. So I'll show you a quick video. And change my presentation screen to that, so you are able to see that. Hope you are able to see my screen.
Yes.
Are you able to see the video? No, I don't hear you.
Yes, we can see.
Yeah. So we are a deep tech company. We have built the powertrain, electric powertrain on our own. We have developed a motor in India, which nobody in EV sector thinks of doing. Everybody is choosing the convenient option of taking a Chinese one. We have built our own BMS. We have built our own battery. Of course, the cells are coming from China. And we have built the first electric tractor of the capacity of 45 HP that we are about to launch in a month's time. We have done tests for these tractors around the country in all different kinds of soil, different applications, subjected it to very harsh, usage, as tractor is subjected to very harsh usage. We talked about the valley of death, and we talked. Dr. Vishal also talked about, or Mr. Vishal also talked about funding. So here, in our case, I'll stop this and go back to my presentation as I have a bit short time. Sorry. We have a team which. So Kaustubh Dhonde, who's the founder CEO, is a young guy, passed out of 2016. He started the company with his friends, and then he took the concept to a certain level, and then I was coming there to commercialize it, make it commercially available in the market. We are backed up by marquee investors and the board of advisors. And Mr. Rao, I already talked about. Here's a person I want to talk about, Mr. Swadeep Pillarisatti. He has been an angel. He's not an IB, but he has been helping us with his immense IIT network to get funding. And for a startup, it becomes very, very important to get funding in time and to get funding at the right level of sacrifice. So as a startup, one of the important part becomes funding. We are all very enthusiastic about the technology, about the offer that we are making, but I think and many of the cases we forget about funding. In case of a startup, for a survival, as Vishal, my fellow entrepreneur, startup founder, has been so much emphasizing on salaries. I have to give the salaries of my people. This becomes one of the very big topics, and funding has to be the resource availability for all of these operations have to be on top priority. This is the slide on my school. So the vision of Brainwaves International School, which is in Hapur, not so far from Noida. I live in Noida, by the way, and commute every day, is to provide world-class education and infrastructure at B-town affordability in B-towns. This is important. My own children go to an expensive school, I will not name it, in Noida, which is almost in the range of 90 to 1 lakh rupees a month. My fee is 5,000 to 6,000 rupees a month. And in Brainwaves International, we are providing everything that my son is provided in his school, except for the canteen. And also bring in the concept of learning with activity. Build complete leaders and not just high scoring students. I have been a product of BITS Pilani. I was 12th ranker in UP board in 1989. I have been, a Kitabi Kida or whatever you can call it. But I know the importance of being, a total, complete personality. And that's the whole idea. We have to fight with or convince the parents, many of them who are just chasing NEET and, JEE kind of orientation. My effort always is that, yes, that is important, but do not neglect the other part. And that's the whole orientation of this. And this can be termed as entrepreneurial thing, not as a startup, but doing it at age of 50. I give myself the credit of jumping into taking the risk and all, which is why I mentioned it here. Coming back to, the faculty, first of all, I'm very impressed with the program of faculty being encouraged to do startups. I want to bring my 2 cents of learning in my journey as an entrepreneur, as a startup founder, co-founder. Startup and coming into a startup after having the MNC life. Daewoo Motors, Tata Steel, Maruti Udyog, Schneider Electric, all blue chip companies, 20 billion, 30 billion, whatever, flying around, staying in 5-star hotels, big teams, consultants for almost everything, all that. And coming to a startup world, team of 5 engineers, no proper office, we don't even have enough technicians. So if you have to do the prototypes, you have to get your hands dirty. There is no weekend. I was living in Nordic countries for 8 years. Was very happy with my work-life balance. Come back here, there is no work and life distinction. It's work and life together. So I want to give my 2 cents on the startup DNA. We need to have the sense that I am solving a real life problem. If you see a real life problem around and you're finding a solution to that, you can certainly make a business idea around it because it will have buyers. I believe in my idea. Adversity quotient is high. 100 of people will tell you that your idea is not good. You will go for funding. There are examples where 100 VCs have declined, and then the 100 first accepted. And even in our case, we have been presenting to VCs, for almost last 2 years. That's a continuous job. Finally, we have secured our funding of $2 million just recently, and we are about to make the public announcement for it. It's a US based fund. So adversity quotient has to be high. Don't give up. You have to validate your idea with facts. So don't just run on whims and fancies. I like this idea. It certainly will be helpful. You have to validate it facts. What is the marketability of this? What is the customer capacity to pay for such a thing? Is there the market? Execute parallelly as you strategize. Execute parallelly. In my big companies, we had a strategy department separately. Execution will come after, would lead to the typical bureaucratic big company delays. I believe in teamwork and I trust my team. You cannot go alone. Mr. Vishal was presenting his team. He was emphasizing on this point. If you try to go alone, it doesn't work. I am on a different journey than my MNC job colleagues or my MNC job friends or pass outs. Don't say that, oh, his life is so good, he's able to do this, I'm not able. You have to have that conviction in your idea and go for it. Traps to avoid, just the last slide from my side. Filter the noise. When I was building the school, it was at the time of COVID. All my colleagues or friends from college who were all in very, very senior positions, VPs, MDs, leaders of their own businesses, said, Pankaj, kya kar raha hai? Abhi everybody is going to cloud. You are building a brick and mortar school. I had my ideology of why a school would work. Why making a tractor? Make a 3-wheeler. It's a big market. It's working this way. It's working that way. Why not make a 4-wheeler? Blah, blah. You have to have your own conviction. You have to filter the noise. Of course, not only these, a lot of people will say it is not going to work, blah, blah. Avoid that. Avoid going too far on a failure route. Be ready to pivot. And I'm not saying give up. Be sensitive and be objective oriented and ready to pivot. So change course. Do it with facts. Don't give up on your core conviction. Ensure that your core conviction, as I said, is fact-based and stay on that. Don't start without resource calculations. So if you're leaving your job, for how long can you sustain? I started with my savings from the job. Mr. Vishal was mentioning about the same. Do your calculations, and because without food you cannot survive. Without the resources you will not be able to do anything. You have to have the means, and don't go it all alone. Never do that. I know everything. I am the king of this technology. I know this area. Don't go that course. That's my 2 cents. It's a little quick. All the best. I mean, I have my 2 startups. All my life is now sucked into that. I wish you all the best for yours. And I hope after this, a lot of the faculty members would be jumping into it.
Thank you.
Very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pankaj, for a wonderful talk, highlighting, the main risk factors and also conveying then don't give up, stick to your core conviction. And, we are so proud of you working in 2 areas, education and electric vehicles in agri-tech. I think we are so happy that Honorable Founder President Sir has joined. Let's clap for him.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now the program is, we have got one more speaker who is in Canada. if you permit, can we take her or
Please. I am listening from the very first moment. I
Right.
heard Meera Sharma, then I heard you, then I heard Nirmalji, and that Parimalji, everybody I've heard every minute, every word, because nothing is more important for me to hear all this. So I am appearing now because I was attending 2-3 other meetings, but my ear was on this. I tell you, I have 4 laptops. So then I know which I should put in silent, which I should hear. Immediately, all 3 laptops were put on silent, and I was concentrating on each word of this program.
so sir, please, sir, please stay with us. I'll just request Madam Imbista Afifa Faruqi, who is a pharmacy postgraduate from Holland. Then she has done her MSS from the same place, and she has a degree in education in 2022. And she is in a entrepreneurship in a business of marketing COVID-19 kit, and with the company of New Life Care, manufacturer of diagnostic pregnancy kits also, and she is CEO of that pharmacy. I think, madam, you will excuse me of not going into the detail of your biodata, and I'm sorry for that. And over to you. I mean, next 10 to 15 minutes, just highlight us, just share your thoughts with us. Over to Madam Faruqi.
Yeah, hello. I'm Imbisat Afifa, and I'm really honored to be a part of this event. And really, I am very much proud that I'm invited to the most prestigious MIT University as a speaker guest. Well, I'm also truly honored with all the MIT academicians and also the dignitaries. And all the dignitaries, they are really an inspiration and truly the role models and the stalwarts in their own disciplines. MIT, undoubtedly, it boasts of all the disciplines, whether in the field of R&D, technology, or the startups. For my introduction, like I would again say I'm Imbisat Afifa, and I graduated and postgraduated in the year 2000 with a gold. Presently, I'm the director of New Life Consultants and Distributors Private Limited in New Delhi, CEO New Life Care, and Director Discovery Bionics. I'm the founder and owner of PC1394498 in Vancouver, British Columbia, and Kitchener, Ontario. Well, my journey, it started soon after I completed my post-graduation. I joined New Life Consultants and Distributors Private Limited as a technical support. Soon, I was switched over to the position of the director there. Well, New Life is a biotechnology company, and it deals with all the biotechnological goods, like the vaccines, steroids, antibodies, in collaboration with the giant companies such as Abcam, Native Antigen, Microbiologics. And we support the researchers and the hospitals with the same. Discovery Bionics, it deals with the distribution of the biomarkers, whether it be anti-cancer, diabetes, cytokinase, in collaboration with the big players like as Biorad, Thermo Fisher, BND, Becton Dickinson, and Syngene. I would like to address the researchers. Here, I would please just note down that I would like all the researchers to address all the researchers from MIT University that if you found a good protein, just please commercialize it. Commercializing the protein plus research, it would serve the purpose. We believe that science is a pillar in publication. Unless it is used in the industry, it won't serve humanity. And as Dr. Silvamurthy and Dr. Neerav Sharma, and they have said, and Dr. Parimal Kumar, they have told, so Atmanirbhar Bharat, Sarv Shresh Bharat. At this Atmanirbhar Bharat and Sarv Shresh Bharat, it would be through commercialization in the field, in the field of R&D plus the commercialization of proteins or any of the publications they are having. If they bind with they join our hands in hands with the commercial setups, then only like we would serve the humanity, and it would like take India to the next level. Well, after that, what happened? Like also the translational studies, we have spoken about it, and it is in the same manner we thought about. And after like doing the researchers and supplying all the antibodies and other, the research products, we headed on to the finished goods. And the finished goods, they were through the lateral assay technology. And I would say that was sheer serendipity or what, like it was a pandemic time, and we took over to the manufacture of the rapid diagnostics. Yeah, the rapid diagnostic kits, they are the point of care devices, and they work on the lateral assay chromatography, lateral flow assays. Yeah. So New Life Care, it was the company which was set up with that vision. It deals with the lateral flow chromatography, and we manufacture for various ailments like as malaria, chikungunya, typhoid, HIV, HSAG, COVID, etc. An abject brand of COVID kits, they came in the time of, pandemic, and we were a benchmark in the manufacture of COVID diagnostics, and we really got our approvals, our certifications, and our licensing passed in that time. In 2023, analyzing the global market with rapid diagnostics and also researching and heading over to the global business, like as in Dubai, we set up our own establishment with the name New Life FZC. And in Baku also, we had our own manufacturing setup, and we were distributing our rapid diagnostics to African countries and also to Malaysia, Singapore, and we other, Asian subcontinent. We moved on to Canada. And there, I founded up this company. It is just a startup right now with the name BC1394498. Well, Health Canada and the global picture with pharma division, it is completely, regulatory. It is highly certified. It needs licensing. It needs approvals, and it has a different approach altogether. But since our event is about entrepreneurship and startup, first of all, I would just speak about that for a few minutes, and then I would touch base with the pharma division. Now, for that, first of all, I would like you all to know, for me, what is an entrepreneur? Yeah, an entrepreneur is a person who is having an approach which is counter-conventional. You don't have a conventional approach. You are not thinking straight in the box. You really think out of the box. You have the blue light thinking, and this is what makes you an entrepreneur. Yeah, you all were right, like in defining entrepreneurship related to technology, related to the startup project, which has multifold profit. But for me also, entrepreneur is your way of thinking, your mindset. Let's take for say Uber. How the Uber setup was done. Uber is a taxi, taxi servicing. Okay, and Uber taxi services. It was achieved without a taxi. A person having a business, a taxi business without a taxi. Can you think about it? Yeah, it was there. It was because the way of thinking, it was different. It was the same way. And today, everyone is familiar, like entrepreneurship is there, startup is there, innovation is there. Now, I would really like to talk about innovation. What is innovation? For that, like I would say today, or it was yesterday, I had been searching for the coffee brand. Coffee which is very easy to make, some instant coffee, Nescafe. Yeah, I searched for it. I found the sachet. They were ready-mix sachets. Okay, I said, all right, let's try it. But before trying and before buying, here in Canada, like I really do research before buying anything. So I said, all right, let me like read the reviews. And when I read the reviews, there was such hue and cry, like what this actually is, what the new product they have like come up with. They change the taste, they say change the appearance, they change everything. It is not our coffee. No, we don't want this. We want the same old coffee which we were drinking for years. It is like it is away from our comfort zone. We really don't need, and we need that coffee. We need that product back. So was it innovation? Like changing up the product, experimenting with the product, like as a Coca-Cola company it is doing. They are changing. Some bubble Coca-Cola is there, strawberry Coca-Cola is there, but like it's gaining any profit, or it's giving anything to the business? No ways. Like, okay, so innovation, it is like which gives you something, and innovation which brings your product closer to the consumer. And for me, any entrepreneur or any startup person would bring their product close to the customer. The closer they are, the more relatable the product is there, and the more profitable business is. This is what I feel. And even if you think about it, it goes that way only. Anything that brings you closer, like the digital technology, it has brought closer. Google Pay, affiliate marketing, Country Delight, everything. What they are doing, they are bringing their product closer to you. So close that you can just grab it. So this is what you have to do with your business. And for pharma business also, like it is like with a different perspective, but it works in the same manner. Now I would speak about the finances. Now, like what arises whenever I say about finances, what arises in your mind? It would be the capital expenditure, the EBITDA, the budgeting, the operating expenses, marketing and sales, segmentation, targeting, everything. And for me, finances, they are like the crops. The more you ripe them, the more you get it. You know, you want to be a big player, you want to play a big game, just play a small game with certainty. Just bring in the profits with that small game, and then, imply that to your big game. And then you would have the certainty, the surety there, and you would apply that to the big game, the startups or the entrepreneur venture, whatever it is in mind, and then you would be able to go through it. And if the two are interlinked, then it is the better. As for pharma, like I would say, it's not easy. And if you are the winner, and winners, they always bite the bullet when they are doing the pharma. And paradoxically, they sound like pharma is a giant market, but it is niche in its own way because of its regulatory, because its certifications, because it is licensing and all. Pharma is that way. And like we can have the R&D sector in pharma, we have the business going, we have to run the show, everything all together, and it really takes a toll. But it is done, and you emerge out to be winners. Pharmaceutical companies, they really account for nearly half of the top largest R&D spenders. Pharma companies, they rely on R&D to develop like Johnson & Johnson spent 8.26 billion on R&D in 2022. And Merck laid out 28.3% of its revenue in R&D in 2020. So now I would circle back, since time is running so short, so I would circle back to the medical devices. Medical devices in India, they are governed through, the licensing, CETESCO and LCMR and all the licensing bodies, auditing, and everything.
Madam Farooq, sorry to interrupt you. My apologies. Can you wind up a bit quickly?
Yeah,
Because
sure.
we will utilize time in discussion, because our faculty, they would like to, raise questions to you. I think that would be, more fruitful. That how do I feel? Okay.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
I just wind up. And for the global, licensing and approvals and pharma divisions, US FDA, Health Canada, Brazil and Visa, Peru, Colombian, or the Japan MDSAP, and other, regulatory bodies. If any questions are there, if anything is there, they may approach me. They have my phone number, and that's why I didn't share my screen. I just spoke about it. I would just wind up, and I would really thank you all for being patient and listening to me. And I'm really honored this dignitary, and especially I thank MIT faculty for inviting me over. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Madam Afifa, AK Singh is very smart. By curtailing your time, he has made you understand you have to come again to speak.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. Oh, I'm so blessed. Like you are there, you were listening, and you came just like before I was speaking. I'm so blessed. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, madam, for sharing your thoughts and insight that even if we have a protein which has some application, why not to commercialize it? I think a great thought for the life sciences scientist who is a big cohort in MIT University, Noida, and also sharing the success stories, particularly the Uber and other things. And we are again thankful to you because you are awake since 4 a.m. in the morning for this program. Thank you, and our apologies for you.
That's why I'm okay. That is it. Thank you very much. I thank you all.
Thank you. With the permission of founder sir, your comments, your ashirwad, or then we can go or to the faculty to raise questions and some interactive session with all the 4 speakers here.
I must tell that this was a very, very valuable program, inviting Parimalji and Pankaj Goyalji, and also Pankaj Goyalji and Vikram Kumarji, Vikramji and Afifaji. I think this was a great wise step. What I heard from each one of them is a great learning, great motivation, and path showing advice for fulfillment of our mission of all MITians. Whenever I speak something, I try to clarify in a simple way with some example. If somebody will come to me, Dr. Chauhan, we know that this program is going to be held from 3 to about 6 p.m. If we give you $1 million, would you like to take $1 million and sit at home or at your office and don't attend this program? I will say, I will attend this program and have no interest in $1 million. They will think that I am not in full senses. I tell you why. Through this program, my mission is now to make thousands of my students, faculty members, researchers billionaire. When I say this, it's not just a TED speaker speaking. It's not from book reading. If somebody has done himself, then one can speak with confidence. Why can I not do for MITian? I have not studied at MIT, so they are in a better position than me. So I can easier make them billionaire. So therefore, then the person will say, yes, now we know your thinking. So with this example, I tell to all my 4 speakers, by heartiest appreciation, heartiest thanks. I would need one permission from Parimalji. You told from knowledge to wealth. So knowledge to wealth. If you have not a copyright to that, can I make today for Silva Murthy ji and AK Singh ji and Neeraj ji and Khatri ji, mission knowledge to wealth. Mission knowledge to wealth. Because, this incorporates everything, startups and all. Silva Murthy ji, if Parimal ji agrees, then should we finalize today? Mission knowledge to wealth.
I think you have already mentioned it.
Happily accept, sir.
Great. I think it is very good because more I was motivated to listen to you that we should give a right platform for my. I must tell to all my worthy 4 speakers, we have extremely brilliant people here. I don't think anywhere in our 1150 universities in the country or abroad, a group of such people, those who are self-motivated and believe in themselves, and also from scientific acumen, unparalleled. Smita Sahu, am I right? You know the patents 2,300. Am I right that our the scientists, researchers in all our 12 universities are unparalleled. That is why you are filing so many patents. Do you agree with that?
Yes, yes, sir. And as per your vision and mission, we all are trying, sir, towards the establishment of a progressive, inclusive, a sustainable IP ecosystem in our university. Thank
AK Singh Saab, what do you say about mission knowledge to wealth? Because this should be,
I think nothing could be more befitting than this.
Right.
Take in the backdrop your vision of these startups and making faculty and students billionaire, and I think it is very apt. We should sooner is better.
but Neeraj ji, because I want to be very sure that everybody agrees to that.
I think you have very rightly said, and from this mission from knowledge to wealth is actually very much required here, because yesterday I also spoke about from ideation to commercialization. All these are happening in this MIT universe. Not just research, it's idea, but it has to commercialize at the end. So the cycle has to complete. And what you said, knowledge to wealth, is the very apt,
Right, okay. Dr. S.K. Khatri, last advice from you, because you people have to do it.
Sir, as you are very rich in knowledge and you are having that mission and visions for all of our faculty members to make them wealthy, and definitely that mapping from knowledge to wealth, that's a very excellent idea. And so we will work on this mission from now onwards.
तो परिमल जी को थोड़ी रॉयल्टी देनी पड़ेगी बाद में to all my SNT warriors in the parliament, they say yes, they say no. So to all my warriors sitting over here, SNT warriors, I ask you, is this mission, because you people have to work hard, just say yes or no. Can we make this mission, all my warriors in one voice, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good, great. So, this is a newborn mission, and further, I have a mission which will be slowly implemented. I want to have 1,000 companies all over the world where we do hand holding. For example, if a scientist or researcher made a company, he doesn't have the knowledge of finances. He cannot find the right CMD or director for him. He can't buy the land. So we people all over the world, wherever they are, in any case, we are spreading all over the world. So we will help them in hand holding. Whatever that person does not have the capacity and capability, we will do it, because rightly it was told that's what is entrepreneurship. So he may not be entrepreneur properly with all qualities. So this thought, Dr. Sramurthy, I'll speak with you next how we formalize this. And to my brilliant, about 40% sitting over here and about more than 100 on the online, Dr. Sramurthy, I want to have a next session online with 1,000, my, what you call that, our list of 2,000 people. What is that? That is list?
Thunder Force.
Yes, SNT Thunder Force. So we will invite them all, 1,000 people in Thunder Force. I will sit again whole time, and they should listen with me when they saw that fundamental. There nobody will leave it. They should listen every word, and then I will ask them, what did you understand? So I think that today's, I will not take more time because I'm so happy. And Dr. Sramurthy, you are also a very happy person today, because Neeraj ji and Dr. AK Singh,
Yes.
moment I had only you who can rightly depict the MIT and MIT group. But I think you have seen that they have been taught well from you. Within short time, they know more than me. So I think AK Singh ji and Neeraj ji, my compliment to you. Khatri, you have to also follow that footstep. Okay. Good. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
sir. Thank you.
Thank the President. So grateful to you for your blessings to all of us and your mission, the MIT mission for startup. This has already taken off now, and you will see many success stories coming up now, and that will move very fast with the blessings you have given, and also the sharing of knowledge, experience, expertise, wisdom from those people who have gone through the rigmarole. You went with 4 sterling pounds to the Germany You came with 1.6 billion. You became an entrepreneur yourself, created the whole universe. So here is the living example, the role model for all of them to emulate. So certainly that itself will radiate and make them successful. And we would certainly take it forward, all that what you have mentioned. And thank you so much, Founder President, for
One word for Vikram Bansalji. You are from IIT Kanpur. And I cannot describe my faith in IIT Kanpur more than that. I have one daughter who studied at Wharton, and I was looking for a match for her. A big billionaire from ministers from all over the world. She's beautiful, the daughter of person like Chauhan. So I rejected all and took my son-in-law from IIT Kanpur. That tells you. And when the government made a committee for DRDO revival and not revival, let's say review, and there was one committee member in that from IIT Kanpur. They all came to meet me here. The lady who is having, I don't know, startup or what, the fund, and that person, I don't know the name now, and he was put in that very valuable committee, Dr. Murthy, because this committee made by the Prime Minister themselves, it means how much value they have to IIT Kanpur, and our Ashutosh Sharma ji, a great well-wisher of us, IIT Kanpur. So my compliment to you, sir, also. And now to our person from Hapur. I think Pankaj Goyal ji, you are from Hapur. He was online. Eh?
He has a flight, so he has left.
Okay, because from Meerut, Hapur is very clear, close. I used to go quite often on the trip from the father to Hapur. We'll tell him later.
how President Parimal wants to say something.
Yeah, please.
Sir, I just wanted to thank you for making this mission knowledge to wealth.
Great. I think this is most appropriate because all those who are with us, around us, are knowledgeable person. Sir, these 30, about 40% sitting over here, each is a jewel. I know all of them. Each is a jewel.
And whatever I can contribute, sir, I'll contribute, because on this knowledge to wealth theme, I'm working since 2006.
Right. Very good.
Transfer of technologies.
Yes.
And you are an example, sir, who has created this know-how and knowledge to wealth. And I was mentioning that had this university been started before 2016, but after 2016, it would have been the most successful startup of this country.
Right. I think when people say we don't have money, how to start up, I tell one does not need money. One needs the enthusiasm, one needs the will. Because when I started, first I started with the consulting. Consulting is your opinion, his money in your pocket. And then I started with trading. So I always say for startup, you don't need any money. And especially not with us, we are there to support every way. And I told to my wife, she was passing through my room, that Parimalji was telling we should dissect and analyze Founder President, how he came. So she was very pleased. She told I will also meet sometime Parimalji when he can assess you so properly that he's a great man.
Guys, thank you, sir. Sir, honored, sir.
Sir, with your permission, can we request faculty if they have 1 or 2, 3 quick questions?
Please.
Yeah. Open floor. Any questions from faculty to the resource persons? Dr. Rawal is there.
Yes.
Please tell your name first.
Yeah, I'm Kamal Rawal, and I'm a professor of bioinformatics and artificial intelligence. I'm head of department as well for AIB, Center for Computational Biology. So we have made certain technologies for vaccine development and early diagnosis of lung cancer with the help of hospitals. So we want to take up your view how to take this niche technologies to the scale, to the bigger market, to different hospitals. We would like to understand what should be our kind of strategy and the plan to take it to a different hospitals and different companies also.
Your question is to
the panel members, whosoever is.
Sir, I am taking up this question, but I'll tell you that for taking up this question. Dr. Selva Murthy and Dr. A.K. Singh are the most competent persons. So in front of them is speaking on a subject in biology. But yes, from the strategy point of view and from the market point of view, if you say, so the lean startup model which I presented, you should, have you identified the user? And if you have identified the user, please get it feedback fast and then improve. So if you do that, so I think that can be the starting point. So
and what should be the structure of MAT versus the structure? How should we do?
I think one question, the first part I have answered in my presentation. But when I was meaning that, I was meaning an independent entrepreneur who is starting a startup, not institutional. So when you are part of MAT, then the question becomes different. So you want to start with MAT, without MAT, then the answer will be different. With MAT, then you should start a private limited company. Okay. So
or a LLP maybe.
So question becomes different. I mean, answer becomes different when you tell the boundary conditions. So I think Dr. Selva Murthy is the.
Sir, I'll just tell you that at least in IIT Kanpur, there is a restriction on the government institutes at least, that there is only a certain percentage that a professor can own. So I do not know whether that is implemented in, so that is 9.5. So that legality you have to keep in mind. I think the legal cell of your, so it's a government policy that I think the college can help you, the startup incubator cell, on how to formulate it. The most important part for you will be my suggestion. Any business, you have to create the business plan. And the business plan has, the same salient points. What's your tech? What's your input cost? Who's your customer? And what is the cost of getting the customer? And what is your market size? These are like very standard 8-10 questions that you have to go through and then get somebody in peer or outside to validate your assumptions. So it's a pretty, like the correct way of getting the first customer is the most critical one. And how much volume do you see in it? So those questions have to be, then you need a small group of people with whom you can hit your mind against. Even I have my friend circle, when I'm alone and I can't think. So I have to sit with them, bounce my ideas off them. Am I thinking, is that even right or is that wrong? So those same things can be followed by you.
Thank you. Okay.
Good afternoon to all. My question is, I'm Dr. B.K. Murthy. I'm a Dean Translational Research and Entrepreneurship Development in Amity. I joined just 15 days ago, almost 1 month now. I was from IT, Ministry of IT. So I was a scientist, a distinguished scientist. And before this, I worked in IIT Bhilai. I also set up the Entrepreneurship Development and Incubation Center, TIH head, as a CEO. So my question to you, Vikram, is that what is the effort that you have put in and how many failures you have faced to get your first grant? And second thing is, who is the first customer? And again, how much failures that you have faced to reach the first customer? So because these are the points which will put off a person or take him to the next level. These are the critical threshold levels which are required for any startup. This is very important. So if you can throw light on this.
Sir, while I was before the program, I was talking to Dr. Sharma and Dr. Singh. Your capability in India, especially, we have a cultural issue that failure is not respected. Okay. I have a friend in Amazon in US, and she's an HR person, and she told me that in your life, if you have not lost your job in the US at least once or twice, I mean, it's absolutely normal. In India, I lost my job because of 9/11 happened, and my first job, Delhi College of Engineering, and I came out and suddenly there was no job. And I was so ashamed. So failure in our country is really looked down upon. This is one cultural aspect that if we can change, unless we'll not become the US. What Sir told, I read a whole history about it, Sir. The beauty of US is not having a Tesla, is not having an Uber. The beauty of US is that 75 to 80%, what Sir showed the data, in every country it is the same. It is the leaves. So I read a beautiful article It's like a forest. Unless the leaves fall and become the humus for the next plant to grow on it. So as a society, as a everybody here, you should be okay. I started a venture and it failed. Absolutely fine. That's all right. You failed. What's we all write in our resume what all your successes are. Show me a resume which shows my failures are. So that's a very, very cultural thing that we have to. So failure will come in many, many different ways. I'll be honest with you. My heart has been. Last night I had a hard sleep because yesterday. So we were getting some grant from somewhere and it got cancelled. So it's an everyday life, living, getting up, living. Doing it again and again. Like the other friend said, you don't have weekends. But here the good part about an educationist here is that very honestly, and I'll be very blunt here, sir, you have your salary coming in. Your risk appetite is far higher than like for many other people. So at the end of the month, but we guys are, I'm telling you, who's an entrepreneur who burns his or her bridges, right? I have no fallback. If I have a fallback, I'll leave tomorrow morning, again go to the corporate world. You have to burn your bridges, okay? And you have to really persevere and be okay with the failures. I failed many times. I'm failing every other day. That's my quick input, sir.
Exactly, I want to just.
Actually, with my experience, I have started this journey of setting up of startups in 2007. So with my journey, most of the technology startups, they think that I have an idea, technology idea. I am capable of doing this. From next day onwards, I can sell it. And tomorrow onwards, it is. They think that it is a trading versus entrepreneurship. Most of the youngsters who are coming, so they do not understand what is the difference between these two. Selling a product is different. That is, trading is different. Entrepreneurship is different, and translational research is different. And innovation and entrepreneurship is different. So most of the students who are young students who are coming, graduate students, they think that the moment I get an idea, from next day onwards, it is like I'm opening an Alan Chole shop or something like that. Tomorrow onwards, customers will come and some big celebrity I will bring. And then from next day onwards, people will be there in the queue to buy those things. That is the myth. That is why 90%, even 93% startups fail because of this. Technology startups especially. So the TIDE scheme that he has mentioned about, I have created in 2007. So 125 startups were funded by us. And that was the first time 25 lakhs was given to each and everything as a grant from the public fund. So out of that, so with effort that we are putting, 25 lakhs we have given in 2010, we could only succeed around 15 or 20. So that was, it is. Now, of course, now it is very easy. Thank you.
I'm Ashish, and we are developing, and my question is for Ms. Afifa. We are developing an electrochemical-based COVID-19 sensor, much like a glucose measuring device that we use at point of care or in home. So we want to partner with the industry on this. And further, my research lab is also focused on developing micro scale diagnostic devices using electrochemical as well as spectrophotometry principle, where we are trying to handle the noise part using AI. So if you are interested, we would like to collaborate with you.
Afifa, question to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for the question. And really, digital devices with AI, they are really the latest, inventions. And we are working with the AIs. But only we are looking up to the costs incurred. And I have talked to various technological institutions like as the Quaker Technology in San Francisco and other RMS International, other software industries regarding the same. And if the rapid diagnostics, they are infused with AI, it would be game change. It would be a game changing decision, and it would bring up the results that would be just like you are control, you are measuring your this thing glucose with the glucometer or anything like that, and rapid diagnostic with AI, they would do wonders. You would know just at an instant that which disease you are looking in for. And BC 1394498 is a startup with this project in mind. And as for the electrochemical and the AI incorporation with the rapid diagnostics, we are totally in for that. But only we need to have the approvals, the de novo certifications, if it is outside India for US FDA, or we will have to go through all the audits and licensing and certifications, whatever would be required. Because since it's a pharma division, it is not like that, like we just go in for that. We would have to get, first of all, with our product, if it is working like fine, then we would have to get it audited and approved in the same manner. And we can go in for the 510K predicate device also, but this all, it would take time. And also it would, since it is the technology intervention with medical devices, so it is a big step. And we are all ready for that, and we are working on this project. We would be really happy, like if we can serve in any manner. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for a positive note. I would like to inform you that we have already attracted about $100,000 of funding from government agencies like BRNS and ICMR.
Oh, that is great. We can work.
Stages of development.
Yes, of course. And you can just connect to us, and we are really we are very much positive about it. Thank you very much.
Dr. A.K. Singh, can you announce that all those who are online, they can also ask questions?
Right, sir.
That online people can also ask questions.
Okay. All the online faculty and researchers who are attending are also requested to ask a question to the experts. You get ready now. I think the mic is with Dr. Sikarwar. Over to Sikarwar, then we will go to the faculty who is online.
Okay, good evening, sir. Good evening, Founder President, sir. So my question is related to Mr. Bikram Bansal. I got the project from the DST where we developed one device. We already patented the device. But if you think about the market is very limited. Like I'm planning to make an atmospheric barter generator. So condition is this, it will work where the humidity is very high, high humid condition kind of these things. So how can we have to do the market survey where we have to find the more and more customers to use this device?
So I really didn't get the product, but as I said, I mean, there are a few things which are common in any business. You have to find what is the scope. Who is your buyer? I mean, with all due respect, I'm not into the core research of E is equal to MC square. I'm not a physicist. I'm into applied engineering. And engineering actually means applied for that matter. I'm not into code sciences myself. And hence, my product has to know what is my volume. So the drones that I make, sir can tell, defense itself is multi-billion dollars, $1 trillion economy, volume. So, sir, you have to identify where all your product can be used. It's like somebody said, if I'm making a Coke, so every human on this earth is my seller, is my potential customer. So it's called as the, I'm forgetting the exact terms, but it's my universe. And then what is the addressable market? How much of it can I, so I will have to go through your exact innovation, but the idea will be that who is your buyer? And that you have to multiply to see within India. Let's say in India, there are 10,000 buyers, let's say. But to reach 10,000 buyers, what's your cost of reaching to 10,000 buyers? Suppose they're spread evenly all over the country. It's impossible for 10,000 people. But suppose they're located only in, let's say, you're saying high humidity area in Cherrapunji. Let's say, I'm giving a very arbit example. If they're located there, then they're easy to address. And then the value of your product, suppose your value of product is 1,000 rupees. Now 1,000 into 10,000, that's my market size, right? Is there an existing product? It's the entire business case that one has to make, sir, and understand where all I can send.
Dr. Basant, Dr. Basant, tell in few seconds about your MET IIT Research Synergy Group. So you are already having an aim for 230 from 23 IS, 10 from each MET IIT Research Synergy Group. Just tell in few seconds about that.
Thank you very much, sir. So I am IITian. I did my PhD from IIT Kanpur. I am very familiar with Dr. Ghosh also. And so with the permission of respected founder president, sir, we have a Amity IIT Synergy Network, where we have to be connected to 36 IITs professors. We are jointly working with them in a various areas, and we are also making a joint project, joint collaboration, joint research, all these things. Like I'm recently submitted a joint project with IIT Kanpur, where we have to be develop a cooling of high power lasers. Like this is the direct weapon energy systems where they have a 30 kilowatt lasers, but they need a high power kind of cooling. And this project is almost approved. Maybe within a month we can get a fund, all these things. Similarly, we working other professors also, and we are also looking forward for you, because drone is also one very important area for joint research like this. And we have a very good 3 printers. We have a very good team for materials, and we also very good team for simulations like this. And definitely we have to joint work on this area. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Great.
Now, sir, online, Dr. Hirdesh Prakash has raised the hand. Dr. Hirdesh, quick question from you. Over to you.
Good evening, everybody here, including Founder President, sir. Good to see you all here and across the globe here. So we belong to the MIT Center for Translational Research, which we have installed a year back with the mandate of developing next generation immune pharmaceutical for the TB, inflammatory bowel disease, and the cancer. And we are very much ahead with respect to our TB formulation that we are now heading for commercialization. Now coming to the gadgets preparation from the translational research, I am very keen to develop the non-invasive immune sensor for the TB patient, for the cancer patient, because we have to have a non-invasive immune sensor because of reason number one. If the patient is in a remote area, it doesn't have any access to the hospital, there should be one modality. Of course, there's a mobile van is there, mobile clinic is there, but we should have we want to develop an immune sensor because of many reasons. It cut down the time, it cut down the costs associated with the real-time analysis of the pathological test and all. So now I'm asking my question. I'm putting my questions to the FIFA. How we can gear up in developing the non-invasive sensor for such application. Although I have discussed this with our dean who have just joined for the translational research, and I have discussed with the Dr. AI Center, and already the consensus is there. So now I want to take your expert comment or consent of shaking hands with us in this direction.
Dr. Afifa, this is for you.
Yes. Thank you for the question. And I would really like if you you are very much confirmed your product is working and you have cross-checked everything. How is your manufacturing facility? Has it been audited? The internal auditing reports, the CTDs, everything is prepared well. Then you can go ahead. It would be the class 3 device, and the stringency which it involves, and all the compliances. If you adhere to that, and if you clear up that, then I would really give it a positive note. And if anything is required, you can just contact us, and we can discuss it, and we can have we can see whatever can be done. And if anything is required, we can send our internal auditor team to you, and we would look into the product and your approach. Because
which MIT University you are, Dr. Hirdesh? From which MIT University you are?
I'm from Noida, sir. MIT Noida.
Okay.
Sir, I'm Hirdesh Prakash, sir. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Great.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, Dr. Jindal has a question.
Good evening, everyone, and good evening, most respected founder, sir. Yes, sir. My question is to Mr. Bansal. Discussed with him also. Like when there are so many competitors in the market, and you know that product is exclusive and has novelty. So, how to decide about the cost? Because if it is too expensive in the market, it will not get. I mean, there should be a period for the benefit. So, what are the strategies to decide about the cost? Yeah.
So, ma'am, so there are two. I mean, I'll put my MBA hat here on myself. There is a cost and there is a price. Cost is always yours. Market does not care what your cost is. Okay, they just don't care. You paid somebody more, you made a loss. I just finished 2 tenders. I made a loss on it. Market doesn't care. Okay, to CDAC and Millet in Srinagar. Price is governed by the market. So if you're selling a product, you have to see who your peers are. Okay, the peer study is the most important one. So if I go to buy a bath soap, if you make it 1,000 rupees, I mean, nobody will buy. There is a bath soap, let's say 50 rupees, you are very exclusive niche and you're able to convince, you may be able to sell a Dove, at 70 or 100. I don't use it, so I don't remember the number. But so 70 rupees, 100 rupees. But you outprice yourself from 100 a peer group, then you're gone. So it is one of the functions of a startup to know how to price. Pricing for me is one of the most difficult one, right? It is something you have to. It's a buildup of many things. As I said, peer, your own cost. Can you sell below a certain price? Can you? So sometimes strategically you do sell. So you have to know what is your peer, and then in MB again, you do what is known as a group study. You catch 5 of the users and ask them, if this exclusivity is provided to you, will you buy? So it's known as a focus group. The word is the focus group. So like that, you have to do a little bit study around. What I'm hearing from everyone, sir, if I may say, you should, for the faculty, you should have a small group of startup founders like myself or somebody else. And you can call us, invite us only for a cup of coffee. Okay. Sir, once in a while. And some of the ideas of your faculty can be hit with, like onto us. For example, I again heard somebody say about a particular technology. Sometimes it's right to sell your technology to a startup which is already into that area. Why do you want to start a new company for it? Right? What is the end objective? To create value, to create, like wealth. So if your idea is only one particular one, if somebody else is in that area, why not sell it to him or her? I'm just saying there are many ways to bell the cat, So, partner, you can call it partnership, you can call it outright selling, you can call it whatever. And then that money can again go back to, investing into new and new. So that's my quick.
Thank you. Now, Colonel Gopal wants to.
Sir, I am Colonel Gopal from ASTIF under Dr. Salamurthy. Knowing the mechanics of the defense products which are most desired today from the startups, I have seen various startups which have come up, but then you're also looking for some, matching contribution from the startup. So are you thinking of some new methods of, getting onto this, there's a major hurdle for the matching contribution from the startup because funding is a major problem for them, sir. So are you coming up with anything which can substitute this requirement?
I think you are asking question about technology development fund.
No, sir. It is because I think IDEX.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you for asking that question on Habila.
So that matching thing in IDEX, instead of that, I'd like to answer about TDF. There the amount has been raised to 50 crores and that will get implemented very soon. And there the limit is 10%. 90% you can get from the fund. So matching, it is not matching, it is only that minimum 10%. So if you find that IDEX is not very congenial, move to TDF. That is one suggestion, practical suggestion. And since I am from DRDO, so I think I can answer that.
Now, Meenakshi Kanojia.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Minakshi. I'm looking after technology transfer and commercialization in Amity University. Good evening, Founder President, sir. And my question is to Mr. Vikram Bansal and Mr. Pankaj Goyal. And Ms. Afifa can also answer this. And Bansal sir has rightly mentioned that if you have a technology and somebody else is also there in the market, so it is not necessary to have your own startup. Why not you give your technology to the already existing company? And the part of this suggestion is this: if somebody is having a technology but they want to establish their startup, so I just want to know what are the deciding factors, what are the criterias on which one should take the right decision so that they can make the profit, whether to sell the technology to the existing companies or to go for a startup. Because here today we are gathered with this with the concept of creating the faculty startups, and faculty, they are already into teaching, so they are secured, they are having their salary. Now if they go for the startup, the another point come to my mind is the conflict of interest which may arise in future. So what are the deciding factors so that they should go for this journey of entrepreneurship, compromising a bit or may not with the teaching career, or they should sell their technology to the existing companies and focus fully on their teaching and focus on their increasing the maturity of the technology like validation and all. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, it's a very, I mean, my father retired as a teacher. I love to teach myself to teach. I can tell you one thing, this conflict of interest I've already seen. Okay. So for another forum or another time, but I can say that definitely your teaching responsibilities will get challenged. I've seen it firsthand. I can't name things, but when professors have a startup, what happens when a bright student wants to start his own startup in the same field? I've seen this happen. I've seen them getting killed. Okay. And so yes, that as a society, we have to discuss this. So I leave the individual, I leave it to the college, that how do you ensure this conflict of interest? Because from guru, you become a killer of your own startup or a student. So I leave it to a bigger forum. It's far beyond my scope. The second is that what you're saying, that how do you make this decision? So ma'am, it's like any other decision, like make or buy. Do you buy something or do you make it on your own? It's a very classic case of what you said. You have to know when you go and create something new. If I may, if everybody is here, that I can play with somebody else's kid or have my own. That's painful. Okay, so it's like a startup is challenge to create a market, to enter to the market. It's a challenge. It's a war over there. It's a complete war for it. Is your personal life? I can also quickly dwell upon it. Your personal life is gonna go for a toss. It will. If your family backup is not there, your personal situation in your life, at least in your case, it's again, I'm repeating, and that's the advantage of a faculty starting in a startup. You have so many privileges which we guys don't have. So many privileges. You don't have to pay for an office space. I'm paying 50,000 plus 20,000, 70,000 rupees per month is my rental cost. Even to IIT, I pay 50,000 bucks for sitting in their office and having 8 seats over there. You pay zero. So your costs are much lower. Your safety net is much higher. Yet, imagine there is a market there. You can see you have a tech. To break into that market, like everybody says, Facebook was not the best or the first. There was हमारे ज़माने में Orkut होता था, right? And there were 5 other companies. That guy came from behind and smashed everybody, right? Google today is afraid of the AI. So you are entering into an absolute mayhem. Are you ready for it? So there are some of us who say, if I can do this, what is the problem with that? I mean, my own confidence was, I'm the shoulder on which Tatas move, right? Why can't I create my like I mentioned in my talk? What is your vision? Why are you doing what you're doing? Is it only for wealth? Wealth means what? Wealth is not money. I mean, I'm sure Dr. Chauhan can clearly tell you that there is a difference between wealth, value, and money, right? So you have to identify those questions, and those are your own. I can tell you one thing: why entrepreneurship cannot be automated till now, because there is no set template. You may fail, somebody else may succeed with the same formula, and vice versa. Vice versa. It's all how you identify as an individual. So you have to see a problem from many ways. Again, but I'm just saying, you guys are very blessed to be in a position where so many of your cost, you have a finance guy sitting here who will do your billing, shilling and all. I create bills of my company on my own. I do GST calculation on my own. I know the HSN code, which HSN code I have to import. I'm sure 90% here do not know the meaning of HSN code. Okay, HS code. Okay, how you import a material. Which one, a drone part gives me 5% if I declare it. A WPC, there is a WPC for importing any. So in me, what I'm saying is, so you have to get into all of this. If you're ready for that, most welcome to the table.
I want to comment on this. Our faculty, for example, myself, I have acquired 11 different projects, competing against best of the brains across the world. Got the money, got the project executed, got the development done. Now we are into a marketing and scaling up phase. So we are already into thick and thin of many of us. So we are open for the challenges. And coming to your other things like competing against a host student, we believe the market is big, universe is big. So we can offer 10% stake to my student, engage them in the startup, making as a team, and get more things. It's not that we are stopping, we are evolving, and we want to help others. So that's our agenda, being an education, being from MIT side. That's my philosophy of thinking.
Many shades of gray which are going to come.
Definitely, we will be open.
Sir, I'll also like to comment on this, especially on the conflict of interest part. Actually, conflict of interest will arise in this educational setup from whom? One is from the university itself and the other is from your students. In both the cases, from the university, it's a formal setup. Obviously, already regulations will be there that how much will be shared. As far as students come up, so there have been cases in universities, and especially when I was studying about the global scenario, role of academia, professors have been sponsoring their students to start a company, a startup, with equity of everybody well defined. So I don't think there will be any conflict of interest in that case. There are models existing. Right. Thank you.
Okay, sir, can we have last question, if any? Any questions? I think before, sir, you conclude, I'll take 1 minute.
Yeah, please.
Just I want to say that how the vision of founder president and his ideas gets translated. Now the discussion is so live. I think if it was not 6 p.m., it was 3 p.m., I think it would have gone for 2 more hours. I'm telling you. Now, the speakers, Mahakumbh took place of startups. 2 S&T warriors, they visit startup Mahakumbh.
Name them all.
I'm telling you, I'll come to that. They identify this Pankaj Goel is identified by Rajiv Nain. He went there, he met, got his card and connected. Parul Singh also went. She, came in contact through Dr. Naved, Afifa. Vikram Bansal is the hunt of Harjinder Kaur through her TBT Connects. And I think no need to say, Param is our old friend of MIT at DRDO. So I think I want to thank them for finding such people and competent resource person, and also the other team. Koshki was there, Vidhi was there, Upreti and Vivek and all other FSTIA S&T warriors. I think on behalf of founder president and on behalf of everyone, I think one clap for them.
Clap for all the guests.
So before we request Honorable Founder President to give the concluding remarks and blessings, I just wanted to tell you, we first of all wish all these four participants who are startups for we bless you to succeed. You will transit from the startup to unicorn because you have come to Amity. You have taken the blessings of Founder President. So for all the four of you who have partnered in this endeavor, and we will connect with you and we'll take your advice, guidance. We'll make an advisory group for the startup activities. We'll have a cup of tea or lunch with you. The potential startups will have, and then we'll have a constant dialogue with you because you can contribute a lot. So our blessings from Amity for you, for your family. The next thing is, I want to tell all our faculties, Amity and also our guests, that Amity has the philosophy success by compulsion. Once we have announced 25 startups, faculty startups, it has to happen. It will happen. So I want all of you to have that confidence because here is an ecosystem where the risk reduction is very high because you are already a faculty here. You are drawing a salary. Which institution has allowed such kind of startup? So let's give a big clap to Founder President that who has given not only that, we have a hand holding. If you look at the pattern of shareholding, directorship, board of directors, which we have created one model for one of the startups here, it's a great benefit for all these faculties because as he was mentioning, we have a officer who is handling finance. So you don't have to worry about appointing a finance officer, looking at the budget, paying the salaries, and buying an equipment. You just tell him that look into that. Accounting is a major thing. Procurement. You need a procurement. The Amity procurement system is available for you. So the whole procurement system. And in this project of TDF, we went into a reimbursement mode. That means you spend the money first. The startup spends the money, and then you have to reimburse from the DRDO. In this case, we advanced at every stage, 25 lakhs, 30 lakhs. We advanced money to spend for that stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. So here is an organization which is funding you, which is supporting you financially. So the whole system is available, what is required for a startup to succeed. So you will succeed. So then not only that, mentoring, whether you need a business plan development, we have experts in business plan development here. You want to incubation, you have an incubator here, which has incubated more than 1,000 companies. So everything, the whole process, structures, wherewithal, and the support mechanism is available for all of you. That is why you will never fail. Even though you say the success rate is 10% or 20%, and you will succeed because of this environment. We have a hand holding. We will have an equity once you have, and we have an Amity venture capital available in case you need some venture, and your own venture is there. We have Amity Innovation in councils available. We have tie-up with DRDO. We have tie-up with the other institution. You need something from ICMR for Hridesh Prakash project. We will have some expert guidance coming from there. Mentoring is available. So this is what is required for startups to succeed. So there is no reason that a faculty who venture into this will fail because we will succeed. So with this, I would request Honorable Founder President to give his concluding remarks. The man who has created this entrepreneurship, and he is a living embodiment of entrepreneurship, and he is a living example of who started as a small with 3 sterling pounds, returning with 1.6.
My welcome and my heartiest thanks to my worthy guests and my heartiest appreciation to my faculty. I must want to tell my faculty, if I say something, I have never missed to complete it. Many years back, we have Amity International Center. On every weekend, we had a lecture in F Block Seminar Hall. And there I declared I was weighing 91 kilograms. I was weighing 91 kilogram. I declared I want to come to 70. Today I was 73 kilo and I'll come to 70. With that, I want to say, if I say 1,000 companies, it will be 1,000 companies. If I say 25 in the first go, then first go, I want most of my faculty members, because I feel very big pain when the salaries in the academics are so less in comparison to the corporate world industry. If my faculty will go to the corporate world, they will get 4 times salaries. And therefore, I want to make them rich through teaching and all. And this, Meenakshi, this question of teaching, no, when Shivani Verma told me I need sub 10 lakh, I need 5 lakh, I never thought, I gave her advance. And secondly, I never asked MS Prasad how much hours she's teaching, how much hours she's spending. It is automatic that if a faculty can make their career, and they will be more motivated to teach. So I think these all things does not have anything in way. Faculty should. Vasant Segarwar came to me. I told, make a company. We sat for a few hours. I made a company for him. Company is made. Now the next step is. So I think if in my Raj, in my empire, people cannot make startups, nowhere they can make it. Nowhere. Because I have made myself. I know how to make it. And I'm generous. So therefore, I tell to all my people sitting over here, have a startup so that I don't feel ashamed that the teaching profession does not get the earning as in the industry. There is a AIB faculty, she got a job in a pharmaceutical company. I told, let us make a startup for you. You will get 4 times more earning than that company. So I think, my dear faculty, we are proud that you are all here and make a startup. Get motivated from today's lectures. I am with you, Silvamurthy is with you, A.K. Singh, Neeraj Sharma, Khatri, our Vice Chancellor. Our Chancellor is always generous. Our Simji, Atulji, all, they are always with you. Make a determination to make a startup, we are with you. Thank you, sir.
Felicitations. Okay.
मैं निकल जाऊं किसी ना मुझे जब दूसरी मीटिंग में जाना है ओके
Sir, thank you very much for. Thank you, sir.
We'll have a group picture first, then what? Please all of you, can we come? And then we
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I think last. Yeah. Memento. मेरा ऑलरेडी पहुंच गया बड़ा
Clapping for.
ऐसा नीरज से भी मिलवा दिया हमने अब याद आया भूल चुका था
Sir, sir, sir.
कोई बात
Sir, थोड़ा
सर मूर्ति
yes sir
Vikramji, you speak very well. Very well. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Corporate world, That's right. Thank you and so much. And we are really delighted to oblige. And we will involve you. And we will not only offer you chai, we will follow by life. Chai.